Welcome to Chapter 2, Part 2, Installment 2. Call it what you will, it's going to be massive. The High Limit International at the Perth Motorplex, the second time we brought it down under. And a few more Americans have made their way to take on what's another $10,000 on top of the $100,000 that went to Kyle Larson and the Jason Pride Motorsport team. As we welcome you to the Perth Motorplex on Flow tonight. Matt Nolte, Chase Rodman is back ready for another instalment. You guys had a big season over in the US, but hey, there's a lot of tension in this pit lane tonight.
This is going to be unbelievable, Matt. So excited. I mean, this place is a zoo right now. There are people everywhere. We've got Brad Sweet's daughter right behind me over here. She's going crazy. She's our biggest fan here tonight. But yeah, we are super excited to be back here at the Perth Motorplex. It's crazy to think that, you know, we're just outside the most isolated city in the entire world, and we're here at maybe the best dirt track racing facility in the world. Just fantastic. 42 cars here, 10, 11, 12 Americans, and some of the best in Australia. It is going to be fantastic.
Let's talk about your travel. You guys travel out from America. Talk about the hours involved to get here. Plus, Christmas Day was involved there.
It was better than last year. It was an extra 2 days last year, and so we didn't have any cancellations or delays here in 2025. But so that was good. But yeah, other than that, I think it was like 35 hours total. You know, going from Columbus, then to Dallas, then to Sydney, then over here to Perth, and then do it all over again here in a few days and go back home. But you know, I had the exit row on the way here. Tony LePorta, our broadcast partner, unfortunately, he was stuck back by the bathrooms, and so he didn't have as a pleasant experience as I did.
He hasn't forgotten about that, by the way.
Oh, boy.
We'll talk to TLP. He'll be on the infield very, very soon. Hey, the format, it's unique to Australia. Take us through it.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. This is the format for the next 2 nights here, Sunday and Monday. Qualifying, obviously, will kick things off after hot laps. 2 laps of qualifying, and the 42 drivers will be split into 2 flights, as we see a lot in the States, of course, so 21 in each flight, and then each driver goes 2 laps around the racetrack. You'll have 2 cars out there at the same time, and there are points involved in every single on-track event with qualifying, the heat races, and the feature. We'll talk more about those points here in just a few moments, but yeah, qualifying will obviously kick things off. That'll be super important to line you up for those heat races, 8 laps in distance there. Top 5 will transfer from the heat races, and then you'll have the fastest qualifier and the fastest qualifier to transfer and the heat race winner going to the dash, which is 7 laps. That'll line up the first 4 rows of the feature event. We'll have a 15-lap B main. That is the drivers from 6th on back in the heat races. The top 4 in that will move to the feature, which is 30 laps. And this year, Matt, is $15,000 to win these 2 nights here on Sunday and Monday. And then, of course, there are points involved in that feature as well. We'll tally up all those points from today and tomorrow. The top 4 in points after the 2 nights will be locked into the dash for Tuesday night's finale, and then the next 4 will be on the pole of the heat races. There's a look at the points right there. And qualifying, 100 to go quick time, 1 point for position after that. The heat races, 100 as well. They go down by 2, and in the feature, of course, 200 points to win the feature, and 3 points down from there.
And while they talk about points, they're also talking about that money. It's the biggest paying prize money in Australia. It's up to $110,000, an increase to our nightly prize pool as well for each A main. Well, James McFadden won 2 of the 3 nights here in 2024. He almost won all 3. And Australia's #1 race fan, Bryony Ingerson, caught up with our Australian champ.
Well, leading the Aussie contingent, he's almost the Australian ambassador to the high limits and American community here. James McFadden, this is a big deal tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's embedded in our landscape here at the moment that this is going to be the biggest race in the country, and you can see by 11 Americans and some of Australia's best here. So excited to get the 3 days going. There's a bunch of fans in the pit area. It's pretty wild already.
Now, in Australia, there's only one driver that can carry the #1 because you're the Australian sprint car champion at the moment. That is you, my friend. But there is also another #1 driver here tonight. You might have heard of him, Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I remember that guy from last year. He pocketed my 100, so hopefully it doesn't go back to America this year. But yeah, having Kyle here obviously elevates the event. I guess he saw it online and decided he wanted to come and mix it up with us over here. So yeah, like I said, unbelievable for our fans to get to see him, and then for us to get to race him. He's obviously a generational talent and one of the best that's ever sat in a sprint car. So yeah, privilege for us to get to race him.
Well, don't sell yourself short, because you did win a couple of nights this time last year. Apart from yourself, though, we've got some other big Aussies. We've got Kerry Madsen, Callum Williamson, Dane Kingshot, just to name a few. What's going to be harder, though, tonight? Battling these guys or battling the wind?
Yeah, the Kwinana wind, the Frio Doctor is pretty heavy these last couple of nights we've been here. So yeah, I don't know. I think the wind's probably not going to punch me back if I do something bad to it. So we'll see. No, it's going to be a cool night. We've got a lot of great Australian guys here, and obviously some of America's best. And at the top 3 facility in the world, it's something to. I think it's going to be a pretty cool weekend to be a part of.
Well, it's cool to have you here. Go well tonight, J-Mac.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, McFadden was very close to getting the win here. Obviously, last year, Matt came home second. He's got a curse on him, a $100,000 curse. He's ran second in that type of race 3 times in his career, has not been able to punch his ticket and get one of those 6-figure paydays, but that could change, obviously, by the end of the weekend, as he has just been absolutely fantastic here at Perth in recent memory. But we got a lot more to talk about, including Boxing Day, which was just fantastic.
And you arrived just in time for Boxing Night here as well. We had temperatures for our American friends of 107 here on Christmas Day. It cooled down dramatically for our first part of Speed Week in front of a capacity crowd. What that did was, sadly, give us a bit of a dustier track towards the end. On TV, it looked incredible. From behind the scenes, it was hard to watch this one.
I'll tell you, from the infield, it was absolutely fantastic, though. I mean, the action in this feature was just incredible. I was telling people, I was super tired. We arrived at noon on the day of Boxing Day. We came out to the track to try and stay awake, and I was in the infield. I was like, man, I just really want to go to bed. And when this feature started, I perked right up, and boy, oh boy, was this some good stuff here. Kerry Madsen getting out front early, but it was all Buddy Kofoid all the time, but the action was behind him.
It was for Corey Day, who was given a provisional start to start from 28th on the grid. He'd already picked off about 10 cars before the first 5 laps. Kerry Madsen had the pace early here in the Diamond Bay Motorsports car, but Buddy Kofoid just looked so comfortable in that number 7.
Yeah, the cushion, he had it wired there for a majority of this race. Here we are on board with Corey Day trying to make his way towards the front of the field right there, trying to get on the back bumper of Aaron Reutzel. A big move here from Kerry. Almost got by about 3 cars, including 2 lappers there, but wasn't able to clear the pass. And Buddy Kofoid just so good this year on the World of Outlaws Trail. He's been very good in lap traffic. And here's Jock Goodyear, who is going to be fun to watch here this weekend.
Yeah, he could be an absolute smoky in the pack as well. Former Aussie champ who won that here back in 2023. This is when the track started slicking right off. Little tyre wear out there too, which was good to see. It did slow the lap times down. We were some 2 seconds slower than what we were in qualifying earlier in the night.
Well, I'll tell you, Corey Day did not care about that. He was going faster. I told somebody I think he was going 20 miles an hour faster off the corner than some of these guys when he hit the cushion just right. But yeah, King Shot is another guy to keep an eye on here for you Americans watching at home back in the States. That number 2 car is going to be formidable. He was in the top 5 2 times at this event last year. As you see him in the Cricky Motorsports machine, he was up inside the podium for a lot of that race as well.
You kind of take that as a win behind the 3 that were in the top 3. This was Dave with our live in-car camera starting to pick more and more cars off, and then suddenly he was on the scene. It was incredible to watch in that number 3. On his way to that second place at the end, he managed to break the Jacobs ladder, and they've got a spare diff in that car for tonight. That was one of many hits.
You watch right here. I mean, watch how far away he rockets away from King Shot. I mean, like I said, 20 miles an hour faster, I have to say, coming off the corner. And on lap 29 of that feature, Matt, he was a full second faster than the leader, Buddy Kofoid. I mean, he was on a rail, coming to the checkered right here to take that runner-up spot. Did we mention it went green to checker? He went from 28th to 2nd in 30 laps nonstop.
And normally those nights would be 35 laps. This was 30 on this night, so one wonders whether Corey could have gone right through and pickpocketed the win. But take nothing away from Buddy Kofoid. He looked so good from the outset there. Even in the media day here on Wednesday, he was really down to business in that number 7 car. One of 12 Americans we'll talk about during the course of the next 3 nights here. Phenomenal.
Well, and that car was good last year with Cole Macedo behind the wheel. He was quick time on one of the nights. I think he was ran 2nd on a prelim night. That car is formidable. We know Buddy is a very good driver, and he's got his crew chief from the States, who is obviously from this area, Dylan Buswell. They are going to be very tough to beat.
Our first All-American top 3 since Boxing Day 3 seasons ago. It was our first time it was an All-Californian top 3 at the end of the first Speed Week round, and we caught up with our top 3 after the race.
Well, Kyle, I thought you had 2nd place in the bag there, but man, Corey Day just came past you like a bullet. But what a finish!
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, Corey Day and myself, we grew up in California. This place is a lot like Tulare, California, the Thunder Bowl. So I knew if anybody was going to come on the fence, it would be him. So yeah, it was good fun though. Him and I are buddies, and yeah, all of us really. We're all from California. These top 3. So yeah, it's good fun.
Great start to your Australian summer.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Yeah, I think we got a lot of speed, and we'll be battling for the podium spot every night, I think.
Well, there was a moment in the night. Who would have thought you would have finished 2nd in tonight's race? 28th? You start 28th to 2nd on the line? Holy moly, what a race.
Yeah, it was a good race for sure. I'd spent definitely too long at the beginning of the race, just feeling it out. I didn't want to go too early and push too hard, and end up how I was in the B main. So I just felt it out, and looking at how far ahead Buddy was from us, if I would have had 2 less laps of feeling it out, I might have got to him. So definitely a good rebound. Glad I could give these guys a good ending to the night after how it's gone. So I think we're in a good spot for the High Limit show coming up, and this place is really fun.
Just got to the top right away and just tried to log laps, and I didn't know how far ahead I got. It was the last 10-15 laps, I think I'd hit the wall pretty bad one time, and I think I hit it a lot, but
I think you even hit it on the last lap or so.
Yeah, I probably did. I don't know, I think the front end felt kind of weird the last 10 laps. I don't know if that hurt me or not, but just felt like I needed to stay true on the top and unless proven otherwise, and it just got a little bit harder to make laps with whatever was going on. But no, just really excited to open up our swing like this. You just can't thank Dylan, Nate, Lockie, Tommy, everyone enough on this Pigden race team number 7, Bella Modular Homes, Toyota Racing Development, Speedway Engines, Mobile One. They made it easy for us to do our job, so just really happy to get them in victory lane.
Well done, congratulations, a super drive.
Thank you.
Well, Buddy Kofoid, obviously the winner there tonight, Matt, but one thing we have not mentioned yet was that night was his first time ever to Perth Motorplex and his first night behind the wheel of that 7 car. That's just another thing that's so impressive about what he was able to accomplish.
I watched him here on Wednesday in the media day, and he didn't have any leading time. Just got out there, found his groove straight away on a dry track in 40-plus degree temperature. I thought this guy is going to be really hard to stop.
That's what makes these national guys so good. They can show up to any track, new car, and make it happen. That's exactly what Buddy Kofoid did. Now, one guy that you did not see in that highlight reel or on that podium was Kyle Larson. Of course, last year's High Limit International winner for $100,000. He's now standing by with the other member of our broadcast team. Some of you know him as Bubba, but it's Tony LePorta.
High Limit International 2.0 back here at the Perth Motorplex in Perth, Western Australia. But we look back at Perth Motorplex 1 year ago where this guy left with $100,000, the richest paying payday in Western Australia, in all of Australian sprint car racing. When you look back on that event, that night, you winning, the whole thing happening, can you believe you guys, you and Brad, were a part of it and making this all go off so well?
No, I mean, it was an awesome event. The crowd was amazing. The atmosphere was great throughout the 3 nights. And to cap it off with the win was pretty special. My first ever only win, I guess, in Australia. So, hopefully we can do the same again. Got the same team, same car, same engine. Trevor Canales working on it again, so hopefully we're fast.
It was your debut trip to the Perth Motorplex. You'd never seen it until you got on track for the first of 3 nights. James McFadden takes the first 2 preliminaries. You win the big one. So what's the smack talking been like between yourself and maybe some of the Australian drivers, maybe some of the fans? You've got a lot of them here with you today.
Yeah, no smack talking yet, but I know Corey's pretty confident after his run the other day on boxing night. So hopefully we can humble him a little bit and do a good job and just try to do better in the first 2 nights than I did last year. It was kind of more work than I think we wanted to have on the final night. So it just comes down to execution, and I just didn't do the best job executing last year until we got to the finale.
Well, you were friendly enough to ask me about my travels out here to Western Australia. I think everybody's curious as how it goes coming from the States. Travel go okay for you? Everything smooth? Everything good getting here?
Yeah, everything was good. So everything was on schedule.
It's a quick turnaround, though, for you.
It is. Yeah, going home is quick. I'll be out of here 5 a.m. on the 31st, and then, I guess here to Sydney to Dallas, and then Dallas to Tulsa in time for my heat race there. So, life is crazy as always, but glad to be here. Beautiful weather, a little windier, I think, than we'd all would like. So hopefully I don't blow away here shortly, but no, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think I'll wave at you as I get on the plane to go home, but you'll be at one end of the plane. I think I'll be at a very different end.
Are you on the same flight?
Yeah, you and Chase and I are on the same flight going home to the Tulsa Shootout, which you can catch on FloRacing every single lap of the Tulsa Shootout. This will play well to the 7+ crowd. But Kyle, thanks for being here. Best of luck at defending your title. And you got a lot of people here who want to meet you later.
Yeah, we'll get through this line here and get ready for the race.
Kyle Larson, your defending champion of High Limit International, ready to get back at it here in 2025.
He was so impressive to watch here last year, not just on track but off track as well. He's really stepped up the merchandise, not just for their team, but everybody in his pit paddock this weekend.
I mean, he really has. I talked to Rico yesterday or the day before on Boxing Day, and it was the first night he'd been here. He'd already ran out of die-cast cars. They're already gone. The Australian fans are rabid around here for sprint car racing, and especially the Americans. Absolutely incredible to see the support of this event. I mean, look how many people are already in the grandstands already, and we aren't even at hot laps yet.
Exactly. The pit paddock is quite behind us, but the grandstands and mounds are filling up here for night number 1, the second chapter of High Limit International. We'll squeeze a quick break in, not too far away from the sprint cars in the track here at the Perth Motorplex.
Hey guys, I'm Rico Abreu from St. Helena, California. I'm at the Perth Motorplex right now, and I'm excited to be here for racing for Boxing Day, High Limit International, and January 2nd Speed Week Series.
Williamson back to the lead for a moment. Sweet fights back in the Napper Auto Parts car, but Williamson leads another lap, and look at Abreu to the bottom. He might just get the lead here in the 24. We're watching something special here at the moment.
You know, going back to that race, I think it was my second night here competing at Perth Motorplex. There's a great shootout between Cal and Brad and I, you know, and it ended up me running second, Brad winning. I think Cal was third, or vice versa. I knew Brad won, but the race really, I felt put Perth Motorplex on the map, you know, and duking it out with Brad, and, you know, going into the start of, you know, the first national touring series of High Limit, and, you know, that big announcement. So it just, there was a bunch of energy around this event, you know, and what Perth Motorplex has done over the last 25 years, and now to get put on the map is pretty special. And now to have some international races, you know, and bring in all the elite drivers for a crazy good event.
Larson supplied through the traffic. My goodness me, that was awesome.
Last year was tough leaving Perth before, you know, the races started, and I've got into an accident, or had an accident, you know, broke my ulna, and went home and watched all the racing on Flo and Clay Per View, you know, which a little bit of FOMO not being here, but, you know, put me in a good place to really work at, you know, being in a better position in life. And I'm, you know, here now, and I take this day by day. So if we can get to 10 o'clock tonight, I'm definitely in a better spot than I was last year at this time. You know, I think first and foremost the facility, just to get for the fan base here on the west coast of Australia, and just Australia in general, getting to come experience an amazing facility at Perth Motorplex. Us drivers from the States, we race 75, 80 times a year, and we get to go to all these facilities, these racetracks, you know, from fairgrounds to private facilities to Eldora, Knoxville. And I tell everybody, you know, coming 3 years ago and getting to compete at Perth Motorplex, this is a top 5 venue when it comes to motorsports. I'm just in the infrastructure and what Gavin Migro has done here. And, you know, now he's got some elite drivers coming yearly and putting on a show and competing against Australians, building a little rivalry, and people are digging into that and building that excitement up. And the second thing is the track, the surface of the racetrack, just the shape of the track creates good racing, side-by-side racing. You can have guys start in the back and run to the front, and that's what sells our product is exciting racing, and that's what Perth Motorplex creates, and that's why I'm here.
visit egt.net.au and supercharge your career.
Friday and Saturday night is Speedway night. Our battle eliminations over 2 huge nights. American Top Gun, Reutzel, Motorplex, Zirkos and Whittle taking on Australian champion McFadden, Jim Shot and Williamson on our home track. All out wing warfare, stars in their cars, wheel to wheel, wing to wing, swing lift, speed lift, brake bottle, powered by company workwear. Bring your mates, we'll bring the Americans. Grab your tickets, motorplex.com.au. You'll be there.
At Total Tools, we won't be beaten on low prices. With all the top brands like Makita, Milwaukee, DeWalt, Bosch, Paslone, Sidcro, Sutton, Stanley, Detroit, Michigan, and more, we're the experts in tools for tradies. If you've got the job, we've got the tool. With access to over 60,000 tools for tradies, our low prices will not be beaten. Total Tools, low prices on every tool, for every trade, guaranteed.
Aaron Reutzel from Clute, Texas. Here driving the Monty Farms 17. Yeah, just out here to drive for Luch Monty. Called him up and we talked about it for a few weeks and put a deal together. And yeah, really excited to get here. Watched a few videos of Perth, and this place is awesome. It reminds me of Eldora, but a lot smoother. And yeah, just nice, wide, sweeping. I think it's going to be an awesome experience. When I was at home and people asked what I was driving for, I told them, I feel like I'm driving for the most prestigious car in Australia. I told them I put it as at home, I'm either in the TSR or the KKR car. I don't think there's a better race team out in Australia than the Monty car. So yeah, just really happy to get the opportunity to drive for Luch and his family. And I think Luch and I have already hit it off well. So I think we've already become really good friends. I've already put down a few 10s. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good relationship.
Williamson back to the lead for a moment. Sweet finds back in the Napa Auto Parts car. But Williamson leads another lap, and look at Abreu to the bottom. He might just get the lead here in the 24. We're watching something special here at the moment.
Yeah, so funny you brought that race up. I never seen that race until today. I was on the way here. I looked up a couple races, and that was the first one that popped up. And wow, that was a race right there. I was talking to Rico about it earlier, and yeah, that was awesome. And I think this is kind of one of the tracks, the type of tracks I like to race. It's got a lot of room for those big sliders and stuff, but it's a chess match too, because you got to pick when to slide yourself and block the slider, but you can't do it too much because the guy gets such a run on the top. So it's really a chess match race is what I like to call it, and I seem to do pretty good at those. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to race at Perth.
Describe your driving style, Aaron.
Kind of like a caveman. Me hold gas down.
Bunga bunga.
Yeah, exactly. Caveman. Me hold butterflies open.
Yeah.
Big RPMs.
Yeah.
I seem to get myself in some trouble sometimes, but I feel like when it gets slick, I can definitely go with the best of them at being conservative and smooth on the throttle. I think that's part of the reason why I'm good at Port and Eldora and some of those places. But when it's time to be stupid and hold the gas down and make stuff happen, I think I can do that too.
An absolute hit here during the week was Aaron Reutzel, one of the great characters of the sport, and great to have him here for the Monty Farms team, one of the historical teams here in the West. Some of the greats have driven for the 17 over the years. We're back at the Perth Motorplex getting ready for engine starts, engine heat, if you will. Chase Rodman and Matt Nolte. Tony LePorta will be on the infield very, very soon. We keep noting about the weather conditions out there. Slightly turning out there a bit now.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely pretty windy out there, as you heard during the pre-race show with Kyle Larson. He had mentioned that as well. My hat actually blew off my head yesterday. So
that's a good form guide, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is definitely very windy out there, and we heard Buddy Kofoid last night on that media day, or the media after the win on Friday. He mentioned that he had felt the wind in the car, and it was kind of affecting how the car was handling around the racetrack. So that is definitely something that maybe Tony can ask these guys about later on tonight, is that wind factor and how much that is affecting the top wings on these things.
Let's talk about this for those that don't follow sprint cars. There's a lot of new fans that have been brought into the sport over the last 12 months. What are we about to see here now?
Well, if it's anything like we saw on Boxing Day, if it's anything like we saw with that race with Rico and Brad and Callum from a few years ago, if it's anything like we saw with the races here last year, I mean, this is going to be just a spectacle. That's really what you can say about it, especially at a track like this. I mean, it's just pristine. I cannot express it enough that if you are watching on FloRacing, you're back in the States, you've got to get here. You've got to check this place out. Obviously, the crowd here, they know all about it, man. I mean, they have been locked into their seats for like 3 hours. You know, I mean, it's unbelievable that these fans come here early in the morning. They wait all day long to get in here, and they just sit in their chair until these cars are ready to come onto the racetrack. Tony LePorta is just like that. He's been sitting around all day long waiting to get on the air here for FloRacing. Tony, it's great to be back down here in WA.
Craigie Chase, you're right about that. Dean Neal didn't think I would say it, and I worked it in the first 2 seconds of live coverage here at the Perth Motorplex. It's High Limit International Point 2.0, version 2.0, and yeah, you're right. It is so great to be back down here in Western Australia. It is beautiful. It is windy. I heard you guys talking about that right before we came down here to the infield. 20 plus miles an hour are the gusts coming from the outside of turn 1 down across turn 3. What that is in kilometers or meters, I'm not really sure. All I can tell you is it is quite windy down here in the infield and all around the track at the Perth Motorplex. Brad Sweet, Justin Whittle, a couple of the drivers I got a chance to talk with, said it absolutely will play a role and have an impact in the on-track product tonight. Most notably, it should rear its head in qualifying. Brad talked about how the fact it's gusty, you may not always have a consistent wind going down the back straightaway as you enter into 3. Depending on who's out at what time, you may get a big gust that pushes the car up the track. Dane Kingshot mentioned that the wind can blow out here in Perth, Western Australia, but this is strong wind compared to what they have raced in all season to this point in the Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series. So engine heat getting ready to start down here. It's a beautiful, beautiful day, gusty winds, but I don't think that will affect the on-track product in terms of close competition. We saw a fantastic race during Boxing Day, and you know I got to bring it up. Podium swept by 3 Americans. Let's see how they fare against Australia's best for High Limit International 2.0.
Not just 3 Americans, Tony, but 3 from the Cali Click, as we like to call it out there. And I know Tony loves it when I talk about California. His favorite state is. We'll hear more from him throughout tonight and as well as throughout the weekend, as this is Motor Heat, not quite ready for hot laps here this evening, as there is one of the very many Americans that have made their way down here to WA. The 95, of course, is Brock Zierfoss, and there is the Boxing Day winner in his Perth Motorplex debut. That was Buddy Kofoid on Friday night. And, of course, the defending winner of High Limit International, Kyle Larson, the 2-time and the most recent NASCAR Cup Series champion from Elk Grove, California, and his brother-in-law, the co-owner of High Limit as well, Brad Sweet, 5-time Outlaw champion, of course, the 2024 champion with High Limit Racing as well. And there is the defending champion from High Limit as well, Rico Abreu. You got Carson Cito, Buddy Kofoid, Aaron Reutzel. I mean, Cole Macedo, he's under other Americans, but man, did he have a heck of a run the other night there, Matt.
Yeah, he was awesome to watch the other night too. Also got Justin Whittle, who's back for his second run. Both he and Brock Zierfoss have been out for a couple of races in the lead up to Speed Week. They thought it was time to get out and get some extra laps in, if you will, before we start this series. That just shows you how important, how much this means to the Americans now. They're coming out early to race.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, the only guys that did not come out here to run at least Boxing Day were Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson. As here on board what looks like to be Corey Day, who made his debut here at the Perth Motorplex as well on Friday night for Boxing Day. And boy, we cannot. It's a run that we'll be talking about for years to come.
Yeah, it kind of took the sting a bit out of Buddy Kofoid's domination of the night, because really everybody watched him pass around the outside of Macedo right at the finish line. It was 0.065 of a second between the two. He was given that provisional after being caught up in a crash in the last chance qualifier. He was spectacularly disqualified from the heat race earlier in the night for not running the contingency stickers for the Maddington Toyota Series. And that again has caused a lot of controversy, a lot of chatter on social media in the last couple of days.
Well, I mean, that's and it's understandable. I mean, that's something that when we race with High Limit Racing in the States, we expect you to run the Kubota High Limit Racing sticker. When you go run with the World of Outlaws, they expect you to run that World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink sticker. I know Maddington Toyota the Maddington Toyota Series, Maddington Toyota, they put a ton of money in to help this series out and help WA Sprint Car Racing, and so they want their numbers. Or sorry, not their numbers, but their name on these cars, and so I totally understand that. There is his teammate there, Callum Williamson, who is one of the Australians to keep an eye on here when it comes to not only tonight, but tomorrow and even the $100,000, $110,000 finale. Callum Williamson will no doubt be one of the guys in contention.
Their fan club down at turn number 1's probably doubled due to the fact not just 2 cars, but the performance of the American 3 the other night, in the first night of Speed Week. This is the High Limit International Series, a drone cam looking across the magnificent Perth Motorplex. That's where we were for the host set last year. We remarked before the new host set how much quieter it was. They're pretty noisy. I'm sure you can hear them out there right now, tuning up the horns, ready to blaze on for their favourite driver here over the next 3 nights in this 42-car field.
And it's not just Callum. Now they're blowing the horns for Corey as well. I heard it last night, or Friday night, excuse me. They were blowing the horns for Corey and Callum, so they are definitely getting a good use out of those things. As there's a look at the Cricky Motorsports team, another car to watch for. If you are an American watching this on FloRacing, you don't know much about Australian sprint car racing, especially here in WA. That number 2 car, the current Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series points leader and 2-time champion Dane Kingshot, is going to be a guy as well to watch for. He was in the top 5 several times here last year.
Yeah, to finish behind that elite stars of Americans ahead, it almost feels like a victory for him here on Wednesday night, where we race Friday night. What night is it anyway, by the way?
I forgot what day it is, Matt. I don't even know.
Nights don't matter at the moment this time of the year. It is Sunday, just being corrected here. So the number 2 car has been dominant in the Maddington Toyota Series for the last couple of years, headed by Matty Cochran, you saw in that shot a few moments ago. Matty's been with him since the speed car or midget days. But certainly, Tony, that number 2 car will be one to watch from the Australian side.
Yeah, I got a chance to catch up with Dane a little bit before the drivers' meeting, and like I said, the first thing we talked about was the wind. It's starting to shift a little bit here, guys, more so straight into 3 and 4, so you're going to have a monster headwind you're running into going down the front straightaway. Trevor Canales on Kyle Larson's car and I were just joking about how it's going to slow you down coming out of 4, making the run up to turn number 1, but you'll have a nice push against your tail end as you go down the back straightaway into turn 3. Trevor Canales is just one of the many Americans who are here competing, but not with a steering wheel. You guys were just kind of given the short rundown of a lot of the American pilots who are here contesting that $110,000 payday for High Limit International 2025. I'm down here in the infield just to the inside of turn number 3, and Aaron Reutzel comes to the attention of Luch Monte's team, one of the American competitors. You've got Joe Mooney, who is here. I believe he's crew chiefing on Brad Sweet. Brad talked about feeling strange coming back here to race for the first time since announcing his retirement from full-time competition. You got Trevor Canales, you've got Joe Mooney, you've got Brian and Nate Matherly, Lawton Bleppo, Brogan Fiala, and that's just a few of the American mechanics and crew chiefs who have come down here to be a part of this event. And just like the drivers rave about the track, the mechanics rave about the pit area and how comfortable the facility is to work here at the Perth Motorplex. Cars are coming to the attention of these crew members as they prepare for hot laps and qualifying.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. And you mentioned Joe Mooney there, and that's definitely cool to see him and Brad Sweet link back up, as Joe Mooney was on the team for the Casey Kane Racing 49 for many of those World of Outlaws championships, and now they are linked back up as Joe Mooney, normally the crew chief for Anthony Macri. Of course, they won the King's Royal this year, so Brad is certainly in good hands this weekend.
While we talk about the Americans, here are some of the Australians that are going to really take it to the Americans. James McFadden, who won 2 of the 3 nights, our multi-time National Series champion. Kerry Madsen, well, a legend of the sport and just inducted into the Knoxville Hall of Fame this year for his contributions racing over there in the US. Jock Goodyear won his Aussie Championship here 2 years ago. Luke Oldfield just gets better and better here at the Perth Motorplex. Kingshot, Williamson, Manders, Jason Kendrick looking for victory still. Taylor Milling, who's been so good in the races, but yet to get that famous W next to the 25. Mayolo and Manders, who've been very, very good as well. Mayolo being a double-time champion. And Caden Manders came into the weekend with 2 victories for the Dan Golding team. There is the triple-time champion racing for Team Brady, and the legendary Kim Buswell, who's been around the sport for a long, long time now. We talked briefly about the battle of the rivals. You got father and son now. They're going to take each other on. Kim, of course, Dylan working with Buddy Kofoy.
Absolutely fantastic. We talked to James on the High Limit Room podcast about that exact thing. And it's going to be very cool to see who comes out on top. With another guy we did not mention there for the Australians that are local here, Andrew Priolo, who has not ran too much this season, but on Boxing Day ran it up from outside the top 10. That ran 7th in that feature. The driver out of Osborne Park, WA, was very, very good in that number 8 car with a new paint scheme on it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can accomplish. And there is Priolo on your screen now.
Priolo's also a legendary name of the sport here in the West. The cars have got engine heat. We're getting set for hot laps. And of course, qualifying. Settle in and get comfy. You're watching night 1 of the second installment of the High Limit International here from the Motorplex.
And welcome back here to the Perth Motorplex as cars are getting lined up in the push-off chute. They're ready for hot lap session number 1 coming up here in just a few moments. Should be 5 sets of hot laps with 42 drivers signed into the pit area. We're supposed to have 43, Nolte, but it sounds like Jason Pride decided to, put his attention on the 1K car, which might be the right call.
Could be the good focus to do if they want to another $110,000. We look at Buddy Kofoid being pushed back. Roth Motorsports driver this year with Dylan Buswell, who won Crew Chief of the Year for 2025. A massive effort to do that with so many talented crew guys over there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm second in points there with the Outlaws and multiple wins throughout the year. The highest earning sprint car driver in the country when it comes to the United States, $833,000 in race purse. And, it's 110,000 Australian to win. I think it's like, 75,000? Is that, or 80?
Yeah, something like that at the moment, yeah.
For USD, right?
Yeah.
So that would be another
couple of years' time might be different again.
Yeah, exactly. It changed a lot, I'm sure. As we see the first couple of cars now rolling onto the speedway for our first hot lap session of the night. On your screen now, it's the driver from Canningvale, WA. He drives a Merger Contracting Asphalt Recyclers of Australia, Eastside Concrete, Dunning's Fuel, number 79. That is Chris Coyle. Chris Coyle in the 79.
Coyle will be certainly one to watch over the next couple of nights here at the Motorplex. You look at the Avalon Group Newground Water Services, former Speed Week champion and Maddington Toyota Series champion. It's Callum Williamson, who will be an absolute fan favourite. One of 2-3 cars in the field tonight.
Yeah, the other 3 car, his teammate rolling along right behind him down the front stretch now from Clovis, California. The Fridge Tech, Avalon Group, Newground Water, Perth Motors, number 3. That is Corey Day. Payday, Corey Day in the number 3.
28th to 2nd the other night. Can he do that? Well, he probably won't want to do it from 28th here tonight. Buddy Kofoid in the RBH group. Bella Modular Homes car number 7 from California, driving for Trent Pigden, the winner here on Boxing Night.
Green lights come on. More drivers to introduce you to. There is James Inglis in car number 5. He's from Maddington, Western Australia. The Devil Race Cars, Geotech Australia. Scarterfield Smash Repairs, JRC Civils, number 5.
New livery for Inglis, watching the 94 machine of Daniel Keane, one of the regulars who stepped up. The White and Emmett, back number 94, a famous company out of Bunbury here in the West.
Also on the track in his High Limit International debut, it's car number 65. That is Harrison Pete from Parkerville, WA. Ameco Mining Stingray, Rock Tools, Boss Group, HDD Solutions, number 65.
So looking at Keane working the back straighter, first session of hot laps. Here is the 65 machine, young rookie star who warmed up the Kyle Larson 1K here on the media day. It's Harrison Pete in one of 2 Pete Motorsport cars, with Corey Day at the top of the time so far in this early session of hot laps.
Yeah, no surprise there. Also on the track is the number 46 of Jai McKenzie. Jai McKenzie, he is out of Waikiki, Western Australia. That's my favorite hometown I've ever said, Waikiki.
And it's right by the beach too, which is appropriate.
I think they have one of those in Hawaii as well. Jive in the RC Towing ML Lineboard Electrical Drive Solutions AGX number 46, and that looks to be wrapping things up on session number 1 of hot laps. Corey Day is quickest so far at 14.121 seconds. Buddy Kofoid right behind him at a 14.150. Make that 14.155. Jai McKenzie in 3rd at a 14.297. Callum Williamson 4th. As you see the next group of cars getting ready to be fired off onto the racetrack here momentarily.
Kyle Larson staring through the visor of the 1K. The Schlam Group car is returned to the Perth Motorplex to defend that crown he won here 12 months ago. Picked up his 2nd NASCAR Cup Series championship for Hendrick Motorsports this year. An absolute legend of the world of motorsport right now. Contested the Indy 500 once again this year, and looking to focus on the NASCAR competition in season 2026.
Kyle, a 2-time winner this year with High Limit Racing, along with 4 Outlaw victories as well. Here's another driver making his High Limit International debut tonight from Darwin, Northern Territory, Australia. That's the Higher Power Creative Spawn Harrison Electrical Lawrence and Hanson number 84 NT. It's Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison in the 84 NT.
Looking at car number 40 now, the Intimidator Boats Wormhole Developments entry for Highline Motorsports, the team headed by Daryl Clayton. This is Cole Macedo. Cole Macedo in car number 40. He's one of many of this. James McFadden, the Australian champion, is in the field. The PCB Hot World number 1 for Team Brody Racing. Can he go one step further on the final night?
Rolling down the front straightaway now from Vincenttown, New Jersey. That is the number 21 of Justin Whittall, the RBH Group Turret Engineering Premier SMS CS Designs, number 21.
One of the youngsters in the field here in the MDH Transport, M&J Plumbing. Number 24 is Jack Williamson on the speedway, an absolute star in the making.
Taylor Milling making his way into turns 3 and 4. Taylor out of Kalgoorlie, Western Australia. The Totally Workwear Midland, Barbara Gallo, Kalgoorlie Case and Drill, Australian Diamond Drillers, number 25W.
Underneath the Maddington Toyota cable cam, watching these cars accelerate with blustery conditions. You look at the Bayless Electrical Group, Proline Concrete, Denani Hotshots entry of J.D. Dack in car number 22. J.D. Dack here from Western Australia.
And also on the track is the 3-time Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series champion of Jason Kendrick in car number 11. He's out of Osborne Park, WA. The Triple M 92.9 Canningdale Toyota Castrol Novus Glass, number 11.
New livery for the 3-time champion as he makes his way down into turn 1 at the end of the session. And James McFadden quickest with our first 13-second run of the night here. 13.906 ahead of Kendrick, Cole Macedo, Taylor Milling and Justin Whittall. The top 5 in the 14-second range. Jack Williamson, Matty Cross, Chris Harrison and J.D. Dack are the top 9 in that second session of hot laps. The pensive look of Kerry Madsen. Very, very much at home at the Diamond Bay Motorsport team, and a 4-time Aussie champion.
Had a solid run on Boxing Day, took the lead briefly there, faded back to the 9th finishing position, but still was a great night there for Kerry, who announced that he will be a full-time High Limit Racing driver in the United States next year, so that is always exciting. Good to see the Madman going to be going High Limit Racing next year. There is a High Limit Racing full-timer rolling onto the racetrack now from Clute, Texas, the Jim West, Rumble Ford, Spud Shed, Gold Star Transportation, number 17. It's Aaron Reutzel. Aaron Reutzel in the 17.
Great to have this guy back. Brad Sweet driving the Landrigan Motorsports team here in the West in car number 49, making his first start of Speed Week 4, 2025-26, the High Limit International.
And from Lemoore, California, the Napa Auto Parts, East Coast Logistics, Castrol, Danny Porter Mechanical, number W60. That is Carson Macedo. Carson Macedo in the W60.
Good home for him. And all the way from Pennsylvania, the Jonestown Jet. For Sean and Dot, Karen Motorsports, the Fennell Tires, 95, the Blue Angels. Livery, Brock Searfoss. Brock Searfoss at a 95.
Another American driver on your screen now. That is Xavier Doney out of Odessa, Missouri. The Donut Racing agent, Shane Lawson chassis. Tailor-made wings, number 16.
What a season this guy's had aboard the QV Dasco Supply Group. Valvoline Scarterfield Smash Repairs. Number 71, Caden Manders, two-time winner in 2025-26.
Also on the track is the Q65 of Luke Oldfield from Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. The Advanced Mobility, Barnes Drilling, BK Trading, O'Neill Dyno Tuning, number Q65.
Dane Kingshot in the Toyota Mobile One, Cricky Motorsports, number 2, defending Maddington Toyota Series champion, who'll time in 4th at the end of this hot lapping session, headed by Brock Searfoss with a 13.809. Brad Sweet second, 13.93, and Caden Manders 14.095.
Track appears to be speeding up a little bit. Was a 13.9 in the session previous, so Searfoss a 13.809, improving. Kingshot was 4th in that group, and Carson Macedo 5th, with Xavier Doney, Luke Oldfield, and Aaron Reutzel rounding out the 8 cars that were in that session. There is a look at Rico Abreu in the Aussie Bomber. Number 24, great to have him here with High Limit International after, unfortunately suffering that injury and not able to compete at this event last year. He is certainly going to be a fun one to watch.
Describe the car as too tight here on Boxing Night. That's why it sailed down the order towards the end of the race on Boxing Night. We had a media day here Wednesday, folks, and there was cars lined up all the way down to Ankertel Road, which is the road that brings you into the complex. He had 400 die-cast models. I don't think he's got any left.
Gone. Yeah, they are gone.
Incredible.
So if you were trying to get one, you're not. You're going to have to wait till the next order comes through. As there is another driver in his High Limit International debut. That is Cody Clayton. He's out of Stoneville, WA. The West Coast Rewind, Wormall Development, Intimidator Boats, MJB Industries, number 40.
We're about to learn a lot this year from Macedo, who's joined this two-prong attack for Darryl Clayton's team, the D-Train that ran for many years in Speedway's young son, his rookie season in the Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series of 2025. So hot lap session number 4 is underway. We look at the Bunbury Ram, Pittard Motors number 92 of Chad Pittard, one of the new names to the series full-time in 25-26.
And from Canningville, WA, that's the Nutrient Water, Cason Hydraulic, Napa Auto Parts, Jolly Good Auto Electrics, number 18 of Daniel Harding. Daniel Harding in the 18.
This guy, he could be a smoky tonight. Aaron Cherkop in car number 45, who was impressive last year in the early stages of Speed Week. Keep an eye on the 45 machine here from the West.
Always love Cherky catching up with him. As also on the track is Cameron McKenzie. He is out of Capel, WA. The All-Torque Engineering, Mike Armstrong Diesel Services, Automasters, Hickville Engines, number 4.
So this session underway. So we look at Tim King in the Generation AG Rumbold Ford, number 51. To look high above this 500-metre oval in front of Capacity Gold section. Out in front of our commentary box position, the Speed Shot capturing these 900 horsepower sprint cars, powering around the Perth Motorplex, session 4 of hot laps.
And there is the former Australian champion, John Goodyear, out of Launceston, Tasmania, Australia. The Daniel Trucking Works Limited Clay Review, Goodyear Developments, number T22.
Goodyear comes through to finish a lap there as now. Check out the Pro West 45 machine of Aaron Cherkop, who's at the 8th position. Miles Bolger, Western Australia's fastest farmer in car number 13, will wrap this session up in 6th, headed by Jock Goodyear in the fastest lap of the night so far, 13.866 ahead of Chad Pittard. He'll be happy with that result.
Yeah, Chad Pittard, first year of 410 action here in WA, and so a good lap from him at a 14.109. Tim King in 3rd, then Cody Clayton and Daniel Harding rounding out the top 5 of those 8 cars, with Bolger, McKenzie, and Cherkop rounding out the field, as we've got, I believe, one more session to run here in hot laps before we get into qualifying. That qualifying session, so very important, of course, even with this new format, not new format, but this format with the points involved. Qualifying, it magnifies it even more as we see the next group of cars rolling onto the racetrack now. And there is the defending High Limit International champion. He is from Elk Grove, California, the Schlam, Authentic Collectibles, Harmon Transportation, Tribridge Holdings, number 1K. It's Young Money, Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson in the 1K.
To wash the car down, tune it up, and ready to go for this second installment of High Limit International at Diamond Bay Motorsports Geotech Devil Race Karts entry. 4-time Aussie champ Kerry Madsen. Keep an eye on the black and blue 26 here tonight.
And from Myala, WA, the Fridge Tech, Phoenix Petroleum, Brell Steel, Australian Produce Brokers, number 77, that is Brad Mayolo. Brad Mayolo in the 77.
Two-time champion, the team out of the southwest here of Western Australia. AJ Nash, the Colonial Freight Lines, WA Fuel, number 9, Castrol-backed entry. One of the Nash family have been around for a long, long time. And what about the Priolos here? This car could be one to watch as well tonight.
Yep, Andrew Priolo out of Osborne Park, WA, the Titan Ford, Inspirations Paint, New Style Living, Allwell Manufacturing, number 8 car.
And ahead, the man who's attracted thousands of fans in the Denali Hot Shots to Candelo Steel City. Shop Rico entry. It's Rico Abreu. Rico Abreu as he powers his way past the start-finish line here in his 5th and final session of hot laps, and guess who tops the timesheet so far? Kyle Larson with a 13.903. AJ Nash only 100th behind him, though, if you don't mind.
Yeah, good lap there from Nash as they finish things up there. 2 other cars on the track, the 44 of Ryan Lancaster, and another driver in his first year of 410 action, the 74 of Mikey Green. That is one thing I talked to Gavin Migro about here. There seems like there is a lot of guys this year that are just getting into 410 sprint car racing, which is obviously a good sign. But Green, Pittard, I know you talked about another one earlier on. Harrison Pete, his first 410 season, I believe, as well. There's a lot of guys getting into the sport right now.
Yeah, and I think it's the ladder we've got here now in the West, where you've got wingless, you've got limited sprint cars, you've got 360 LS sprint cars now to climb the ladder rather than just jumping straight into a 410. I think that improves the quality. It's also see if drivers can actually match when they run into this series domestically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is a very big test for these guys that have only been running these things for maybe 5 or 6 races. Obviously, they're racing against some of the toughest in America, and some of the best, maybe even the best drivers from America are all here. I mean, the only one you're really missing is probably going to be David Gravel, right?
Yeah.
The World of Outlaws champion. But you've got 2nd and 3rd in points with Kofoid and Macedo here. So it is just a absolutely stacked field. Next up will be qualifying coming up here momentarily, and it's presented by Scarterfield Smash Repairs. And so we're going to have 2 cars out there on the racetrack at the same time. They will go 2 laps around the Perth Motorplex. Their best lap time will set them up for the heat races later on, which will be 8 laps in distance.
If you want to keep up to date with all the action during the night, download the My Race Pass app now and get amongst all the action. Also, get in your fantasy picks for this weekend's event too. That's been very, very popular. Head to the download store, get the My Race Pass app happening. You can keep up to date with the grids and the live timing as it goes on during the course of the night.
We mentioned Scarterfield Smash Repairs. They are the sponsor of qualifying here for High Limit International. Daniel Leach has got some more on that.
Yeah, if you've been in a smash, don't need to call your insurer. You can contact Scarterfields and they'll sort out the rest. You can call 08 94545 331 for a repair quote within one working day. Great to have Frank and the crew involved at Scarterfield Smash Repairs, part of High Limit International Perth.
Here come our first 2 drivers onto the track for qualifying. First one leading them out is the 2-time Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series champion from Geraldton, WA, the Mobile One Avalon Group New Ground Water Fridge Tech number 3 of Callum Williamson. And out of Boyanup, WA, the Boyanup Sellers, Samuel's Plumbing, Keen Boys Transport, Southwest Auto Detailing number 94. That is Daniel Keene. Daniel Keene in the 94, Callum Williamson in the number 3. Lap 1 for Callum is a 13.666. That is a ripper that we've seen tonight. I've not seen a lap like that so far. Daniel King comes across the line at a 14.526, 1.4526. Callum on lap number 2. He will go better. 13.542, 13.542. Daniel Keene finished up his qualifying and is a 14.301, 1.4301. But Callum Williamson sets the bar high here in group number 1 of qualifying.
Cracking lap to start off. That's 3/10 quicker than we went during that hot lapping session here for Callum Williamson. So that is the marker they'll chase as the number 4 Empire Graphics entry of Cam McKenzie joins the track. Behind him in car number 79. Heading down the back straight now, we watch the 79 of Chris Coyle, Merger Contracting, Dunning's entry. As we move into our second pairing of qualifying tonight from high above the Perth Motorplex. Out of turn number 2 on his first flying lap, we should say, for the 4. It tips down into Schlam Group. Turn number 3. Coyle working the back straight in the Scott Chatwin prepared entry. So Bottrell goes 14.158 in the 4W. Chris Coyle goes to second instantly with a 14.110 on his first lap, but albeit nearly 6/10 away from Callum Williamson's time. Bottrell, his second lap, and nets a 14.196. Chris Coyle goes 14.101, finds about 9 thousandths of a second on lap 2.
Two more drivers set to get pushed off onto the speedway. One of them is one of the regulars here at the Perth Motorplex in car number 5 out of Maddington, Western Australia. The Devil Race Cars, Geotech Australia, Scarterfield Smash Repairs, JRC Civils number 5. It's James Inglis. And also getting powered up now in car number 65. It's Harrison Pete from Parkerville, Western Australia. Amigo Mining, Stingray Rock Tools, Boss Group HDD Solutions at number 65. James Inglis making his way around the top side of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. A 27-time top 5 finisher and a 60-time top 10 finisher with the Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series in his career. Lap 1 for Inglis is second quick at the 13.841, 13.841. Harrison Pete, his opening lap is going to be a 14.429, 14.429. That is 6 of 6 cars so far. Lap 2 for Inglis is going to slow down just a little bit to a 13.937. First lap faster, a 13.841. And for Harrison Pete, he will improve on lap time, a 14.325. He is still P6 of 6 cars so far.
So Williamson, Inglis, Coyle, Bottrell, Keane and Harrison Pete, the top 6 after 3 pairings who push away. Boxing Night Bonanza winner, Buddy Kofoid from California in the RBH group. Bella Modular Homes entry, car number 7. Join him on the raceway in car number 46. Our local hope, Joe McKenzie. As he gives himself some space, Buddy Kofoid needs no introduction, no lead-in time. The man from California as he starts his first of 2 flying laps at High Limit International. McKenzie starts his run against the clock. Here comes the Californian through turn 3 and 4. Smooth as you like. First time in the books puts him to quick time at 13.490. 13.490. McKenzie's time, good effort. 4th position with a 13.996. Here comes Kofoid. We go quicker again. You better believe it. 13.439. 13.439. McKenzie's second lap. Shaves off some time, but 4th position, 13.872.
So a new driver to the top of the board. It is the Boxing Day winner of Buddy Kofoid. Here comes the next 2 drivers, and the first one in this group finished right behind Kofoid in that Boxing Day bonanza. Here comes Payday, Corey Day out of Clovis, California. The Bridge Tech Avalon Group, New Groundwater, Perth Motors number 3. And just behind him, out of Darwin, Northern Territory, Australia, the higher power, Creative Spot, Harrison Electrical, Lawrence and Hanson number 84 NT. It's Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison in the 84 NT, Corey Day in the number U3. Corey Day, that second place run on Friday, his Perth Motorplex debut. His opening lap is going to be 5th quick at a 13.879, 13.879. Chris Harrison's first lap is 8th overall, 14.190, 14.190 for the driver that told me it took him 3 days to get here from Darwin, Northern Territory. Lap 2 for Corey Day, 3rd quick, right behind his teammate Callum Williamson, a 13.758. And for Chris Harrison, he is going to slow down on lap number 2. He'll take the first one, a 14.190, 8th best for Chris Harrison.
Good run, though, for the Territorian all the way from Darwin. Yeah, it's a long drive. It's not up the road here for Chris Harrison. So Kofoid, Williamson, Corey Day and James Inglis is the top 4 in the early stages of Flight 1 of qualifying. On the speedway now from Western Australia, the MDH M&J Plumbers, number 24, Jack Williamson. Jack Williamson on the speedway. Joining him from Vincenttown, New Jersey, 25-year-old Justin Whittle back for his second run here in the West. He started from 3rd here on night 2 for the High Limit International in 2024. What has he got for us this season as we watch Williamson gassing through turn 4 to his first lap in the books? 11th position, 14.348. Whittle, first lap, puts him up in a 6th position, 13.902. Second lap now, moving up the speedway for Williamson through turn 4 and goes up. That's a big gain for him this time, 14.147 to be 8th. While Whittle goes 13.963, not as quick on his second flying lap.
2 more drivers set to come onto the racetrack for Starterfield Smash Repairs qualifying. First one to come out, he is the defending Australian champion. He's a 2-time High Limit International winner as well. From Alice Springs, Northern Territory, Australia, the PCB is best as a demo. Hot Wheel Fabrication, PCS, Shock Shop, Rig Safe number 1. Here is James McFadden. And joining him on the racetrack, he is from Secret Harbor, Western Australia. The Adamson and Cross, Park Engineering, TD Granny Flats, Cycle Bar. Number 94, here is Matthew Cross. Matthew Cross in the 94, James McFadden in car number 1. McFadden, first, and second here during High Limit International last year, was 6th on Boxing Day. Lap 1, he will go 4th quick, a 13.803. 13.803. Lap 1 for Cross is 13th quick. It's a 14.306. 14.306, and Cross into the wall in the back straightaway. Scrubs the wall back there. McFadden on lap 2, he's going to slow down just barely to a 13.830. And for Cross, certainly going to slow down, as I don't know how he didn't get upside down. Lap 2 is a 14.938. Both drivers will take their first one.
And you can see the marks if you're on the opposite side to where that car kissed the wall coming out of turn 2. You can just see it vaguely from the drone cam. So a bit of contact. That's our first one we've seen of the night here, these blustery conditions that are presented at the Perth Motorplex. To move into our next pairing on the speedway in car number 40. The Intimidator Boats Wormhole Developments entry of Cole Macedo as he starts his lap. Joining him on the raceway, relative newcomer, but it's really come of age this season. In the number 22 car for Delaney Hotshots and Proline Concrete, it's J.D. Dack. Macedo's first lap puts him up into 5th. 13.824 as he seesaws away at the wheel through Maddington Toyota turn 2. First lap in the books of JD Dack is 14.233. 14.233. Second lap puts Macedo up another position. 13.767. 13.767. And finishing the lap off is JD Dack, 14.452. So he'll stay in 13th with that 14.233.
Here is a look at Matthew Cross just a few cars ago. Right front sucked into the backstretch. I have no idea how he kept it on all fours, but he kept on trucking. There's the mark that he left on the wall. Here comes two members of the Plex Posse. Next on the racetrack from Kalgoorlie, Western Australia. The Totally Workwear Midland, Barbagallo, Kalgoorlie Case and Drill, Westralian Diamond Drillers, number 25. This is Taylor Milling. Taylor Milling in the 25, and also on the track from Osborne Park, WA, the Triple M 92.9, Canningvale Toyota, Castrol Novus Glass, number 11 of Jason Kendrick. Jason Kendrick in the 11, Taylor Milling in the 25. Taylor Milling on his opening lap is going to be 9th overall, a 13.963, 13.963. Kendrick's first lap, he'll jump up to 9th and jump over Taylor Milling at a 13.935, 13.935. Taylor Milling, lap number 2, he will slow down to a 13.966. First lap was just barely better. And for Kendricks on lap number 2, he will slow down as well, a 14.015. First lap better, 13.935. Kendrick 9th and Milling in 10th out of 18 cars so far.
We look at Brad Sweet as he gets pushed away, the Landrigan Motorsports entry, car number 49. 40 years of age from Grass Valley in California. Join Clute, Texas, Aaron Reutzel for Monty Farms, and Gold Star Transport. Two gun Americans out on the raceway now. 5-time World of Outlaws champion. He was a High Limit Series champion with 14 wins in 2024. Brad Sweet accelerates in his first lap. Here comes Aaron Reutzel for his first lap in the famed Monty Motorsports colours through turn 2. Brad Sweet coming back to turn 4 to complete his first lap in the Landrigan 49. 11th quickest, 14.030, and big dramas for Reutzel. Reutzel has got the wall in front of turn 3. It's climbed up and parked against the pit stand, and that will bring us under caution.
A big moment there from Reutzel, who was one of, if not the best qualifier on the High Limit Tour in 2025. Had double-digit quick times. And unfortunately, you can see where he smoked the fence down there in Schlam at turn number 3.
It was Schlam, all right.
He definitely slammed it, that's for sure. And Reutzel has parked nose first into the outside wall. Here is a look at the replay. We'll see what happens to the Monty Farm 17. Into the corner. This is something I'm surprised we didn't see more of on Boxing Day.
Is that the wind? You think the first suspect of the wind?
It could be.
But there was a chunk that's taken out that concrete down there. So many cars have hit the wall up there over the years, but the way the car just dragged in, damaged right side to the Americans' Monty Farms car, that is not the ideal start that the 17 was looking for.
Certainly not, and Reutzel's going to have to climb out of the car, and they're going to have to make some serious repairs. You see him with the helmet off there, and unfortunate start to High Limit International for Reutzel. Made his debut here on Friday night during the Boxing Day Bonanza. Finished up 13th in that feature event. He won the 2024 Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic over there at the Premier Speedway on the other side of the country, so he does have some winning experience here in the Australian country.
Chase, I reckon to consider that Aaron Reutzel may have had a bit of an idea that this qualifying attempt was going to be a handful. I spoke to him right after hot laps, and despite feeling very hopeful and sounding upbeat when I spoke to him earlier this afternoon, he talked about getting the car back to Luch Monte's shop and doing a lot of work. He said they felt they made a lot of really positive adjustments to that number 17 following their performance here on Boxing Day. They spent all day yesterday working on that number 17, but after hot laps were concluded, Aaron was quite aware, as he told me, that they still were searching for grip. Unfortunately, you saw the result of that lack of grip end his session early.
So that puts the 17 to the infield, and now Brad Sweet has to regroup and go once again. As the 17 goes infield, the 49 has the track to his lonesome, all 500 metres of it. It's out of turn 2 and down the back straight. The Triple M back straight of the Perth Motorplex comes Brad Sweet around to finish this lap. He's currently 11th, and that's a good lap. 13.859 straight out the blocks to finish his second run, and puts him into 7th behind Inglis and ahead of Jai McKenzie, with Kofoid at the top with a 13.439. Williamson, Corey Day, Cole Macedo, and James McFadden, the top 5.
This will be the final driver in Flight A of Scarterfield Smash Repairs qualifying. He is from Odessa, Missouri. And the Donut Racing engine, Schnee Lawson chassis, tailor-made wings. Number 16, close call in turn 3 for Xavier Doney. Doney on the hammer, made his Perth Motorplex debut here on Friday night, driving for Keen's race team in car number 16, a two-time winner this year in the Power I-410 division. Out there in the States, finished up 3rd in that point standings as well. Lap 1 for Xavier is going to be 16th quick for the number 16 at a 14.213, 14213. Had a best finish of 12th at the Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland, Missouri this year with Highland Racing. Lap number 2 for Xavier is going to be better, up to 11th quick, 13.962, 13.962. That will wrap things up in qualifying for Flight A, and Buddy Kofoid picking up right where he left off in Boxing Day. He tops the charts in the Trent Pigden number 7. The speed is evident in that car here early on in Highland International.
Well, the work continues on. The number 17 down on the infield area. We move into Flight 2 of qualifying. And join us straight away. The Napa Auto Parts, J&S Drilling, Warrnambool Crane High. Car number 60 is Carson Macedo. Carson Macedo will start his lap, and joining him on the absolute West Aussie hopes, the Australian hope here tonight for Cricky Motorsports and the Mobile One number 2. It's Dane Kingshot. Kingshot into 1. We pick up Macedo out of the final turn into his first lap, and 13.876 to open up his account at high limits for 2025. Dane Kingshot's first lap goes 14.030, 14.030. Macedo doesn't improve on lap 2, 13.909. For the American, here comes Kingshot a little bit lower down the speedway on his second lap, and nets him quick time, 13.705. For the Bunbury Bullet in car number 2, 13.705.
We'll see if anybody was paying attention to that line. Ran the middle down there in turns 3 and 4, and we'll see if maybe some of these guys in the staging lane were watching on FloRacing, and maybe they will adjust their line. It's been all top the entire way through this qualifying session up until that point. Here comes your next 2 qualifiers from Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. The Advanced Mobility, Barnes Drilling, BK Trading, O'Neill Dyno Tuning, number Q65. Here is Luke Oldfield. And from Jonestown, Pennsylvania, the Gold Star Transportation, Velocity Trucks, Blue Water Shipping, Fennell Tires, Valvoline, number 95. It's Brock Zierfoss. Brock Zierfoss from the 95. Luke Oldfield in the Q65. Luke Oldfield coming around turn number 4. His first lap is going to be second quick. It's a 13.715, 13.715, just 1/100th off a quick time. Lap 1 for Zierfoss. He'll be 4th quick at 13.907, 13.907. Oldfield off the cushion in turn number 4. Cannot improve a 13.956. First lap better, 13.715. And for Brock Zierfoss, his lap is going to be slower, just barely by 5/1,000 to 13.912. First lap faster, 13.907.
Something a little bit different for our coverage this year when the John Day Patriots carrying a camera as we push away our next pair onto the speedway. And it features Caden Manders of the Dan Golding Racing Dasco Supply Group, QV Valvoline, number 71, heading down the back straight now. Joining him in a Bunbury Ram, number 92, Pittard Motors entry, Chad Pittard. Here comes Manders, 2-time WA Speed Car champion, current Western Australian Sprint Car champion for Dan Golding Racing. holding both mantles this season as he works down the Triple M back straight into turn 3 for his first run against the clock and goes to third. 13.825 from the speed shot as he starts his second lap. Chad Pittard goes 14.223. 14.223. Manders using the King Shot line. Will this work? 13.825 was quickest, but 14.006 on lap 2. Pittard goes 14.188. Has to settle for 6 at the moment after 6 cars.
Here come 2 more drivers from the Plex Posse getting pushed onto the speedway now. He is from Canning Vale, Western Australia. Behind the wheel of the Nutrient Water, Cason Hydraulic Napa, Jolly Good Auto Electrics number 18. This is Daniel Harding. Daniel Harding, the 18. He is joined on the speedway by the driver out of Buoyantup, Western Australia, the Pro West Electrical, the Lane Train, PVA Metal Fab, Witten's Irrigation number 45. It's Cherky, Aaron Cherkop. Aaron Cherkop in the 45, Daniel Harding in the 18. Daniel Harding making his way into turns 3 and 4. He's a 7-time winner here at Perth Motorplex. His first lap is going to be 7th quick. It's a 14.218, 14.218. Aaron Cherkop, lap number 1 for Cherky is going to be a 14.524, 14.524. Harding looking for an improvement on lap number 2. He will not find it. 14.266 first lap faster, 14.218. And the second lap for Cherkop is going to be longer, a 14.541. First lap slightly better, 14.524. Harding 7 and Cherkop 8th of 8 cars.
It's about consistency. That guy would be number 1 at the moment. Cherky back in 8th position as we push away the Daniel Trucking. Goodyear Developments. Tasmania 22, 24 years of age from Launceston in Tasmania. It's Jock Goodyear. Jock Goodyear in car number 22. Joined by youngster in the second of the Highline Motorsports Intimidator Boats Wormhole Developments entry, Cody Clayton. Clayton starts his lap. Pick up Jock Goodyear working his way down the Triple M back straight. Time to chasing 13.705 for Dane Kingshot. Goodyear to the finish line. Third position 13.822. 13.822. Cody Clayton's lap 15.179. 15.179. Here comes Jock Goodyear back to the finish line and stays third. Oh my goodness, how close was that? 13.826, just 4 thousandths away from his better time. Cody Clayton manages to find a lot of time in his second lap to stay in 10th with 14.568.
Cameron McKenzie getting pushed onto the speedway now. McKenzie out of Capel, Western Australia. He drives the All-Torque Engineering, Mike Armstrong Diesel Services, Automasters, Higbuilt Engines number 4, and joined on the racetrack by Miles Bolger out of Serpentine, Western Australia. The Apple Mechanical, KRM Hotshots, Tralee Hay, Hilltop Plumbing, number 13. So Cameron McKenzie in the 4, and Miles Bolger in the number 13. Cameron McKenzie, best career Perth 410 finish, came back in 2019, had a 7th place run here in the 410. Does have 2 career non-wing sprint car wins here in Western Australia. Lap 1 is 8th quick to 14.199, 14.199. Miles Bolger opening lap of 14.946 at 141, make that 14946, 12th quick for Bolger. Cam McKenzie, second lap is going to be faster, but stays 8th quick of 14.195, 14195. And for Bolger on lap 2, he will improve as well, 14.757, 14.757, 12th quick for Bolger, and 8th for Cameron McKenzie.
So Kingshot, Oldfield, Goodyear, Manders at the top 4 with Carson Macedo, Brock Zierfoss, Chad Pittard, back to McKenzie, Harding, Cherkop, Clayton, Miles Bolger. It's on the speedway now. The Devil Race Cards, Geotech, Diamond Bay Motorsports entry. 4-time Aussie champ, the Madman, Kerry Madsen, takes the green on the Opal Finance main straight. Joining him, the Barclay Engineering, Rumbold Ford, Generation AG. It's ring-a-ding-ding. Tim King in the 51 as he works down the back straight on his first run. Here comes Madsen, straight up into the top 6 of that lap, 13.904. Tim King is 11th with 14.039. Board car 51, Madsen through turn 4, has 2 bites to pass the speed shot and 13.920 on his second lap. Next time by for Tim King was 14.428 to put him in the 11th position. Madsen in 6th position to work our way down to the final few pairings in Flight 2 of qualifying.
Yeah, this pair features a 2-time Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series champion and a rookie to the 410 division. The first one I'm mentioning is the 77. That is Brad Mayolo. Mayolo from Mile Up, Western Australia. He drives the Fridge Tech Phoenix Petroleum Perella Steel Australian Produce Brokers number 77. And Mikey Green, he is out of Bouvard, WA, the West State Civil Electrical Good Training, Sling Lift and Rigging, City Discount Tires, number 74. Brad Mayolo, a 13-time Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series winner. 9 of those victories coming right here at the Motorplex. He is currently 4th in the MTSS point standings. Lap 1 for Brad is 8th quick. It's a 13.989, 13.989. Mikey Green, his opening lap is going to be 8th quick, 13.959, 13.959. Mayolo lower on the racetrack. It's not going to work out. A 14.408 on lap number 2. Mikey Green, we'll see if he can improve on a very good first lap. Lap number 2, just a tick slower, 14.060. First one better at 13.959. 8th quick for Green and 9th for Mayolo.
You love to see these stories like Mikey Green come through.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers and people around him right now. Kerry Madsen, for example. Carson Macedo is just ahead of him. He's got Brad Mayolo behind him. And now Kyle Larson enters the speedway in the Slam Group. Jason Pride Motorsport, 1K. Last year's High Limit International winner here at Perth Motorplex. Left the racetrack 6 hours later to start his 2025 campaign. And joining him on the speedway is the Castrol Colonial Freightlines WA Fuel, number 9 of AJ Nash. Larson feathered the throttle momentarily off the final turn. Good enough for 8th position on lap 1. It's a little messy through turn 2 on the second run. 13.938 for him. Nash went 14.238 to be 14th. Larson's second lap is only 8th and lost about a 1/10 of a second in the end. 14.065 for 8th position. Nash goes up to 11th with 14.109. So Nash advances 3 positions on that second lap.
Next up from Osborne Park, WA, in the Titan Ford Inspirations Paint New Style Living All-Weld Manufacturing. Number 8, this is Andrew Priolo. And joining him on the racetrack from Bullsbrook, Western Australia, the Sprint Lubricants Slim's Tire Service Fitness Hub of Bullsbrook, Lancaster Strata. Number 44, here is Ryan Lancaster. Ryan Lancaster in the 44, Andrew Priolo in the number 8. We mentioned Priolo 7th place here on Boxing Night Friday. Meanwhile, Ryan Lancaster was 16th in that feature event. As here comes Andrew Priolo to complete his first lap, and it is going to be 16th quick, a 14.322, 1.4322. Lap number 1 for Lancaster. He goes 15th quick, a 14.307, 14.307. Andrew Priolo tries the middle in turns 3 and 4, and he will slow down, a 14.360. And for Lancaster, nearly into the top 10, he's 11th quick on lap 2, a 14.036. 11th for Lancaster and 17th for Priolo with one more car left to run.
Can drive, just can't knit the results together right now in that 44, the Dingo D Motorsports entry. Leaving us with one car for Flight 2 of qualifying on night number 1 of the High Limit International here at Perth Motorplex. It's Rico Abreu, the Denny Hotshots D Candelo Steel City, number 24. Your reigning High Limit Racing champion of 2025 with 13 wins next to his name. So we follow him around the speedway on this, the final car of qualifying on night number 1. Into 3, right up against the wall is the Californian. And goes to 16th in that lap, 14.283. There was a lot of soul searching going on with this team in between Boxing Night and here, trying to get the speed back into this car. What's he got for us on the second lap now to wrap up qualifying? It was 16th, it stays 16th, improves on the time. 14.278 is good enough for 16th position. And folks, Dane Kingshot is quickest at the end of Flight 2 of qualifying. The West Australian is quickest, 13.705. But it's only 100th quicker than Luke Oldfield.
Yeah, good lap there for Oldfield and Goodyear 3rd, Manders 4th. So the top 4 in that one, all Australians, a couple of them from the East Coast, with Carson Macedo in 5th, Kerry Madsen, Roxy Herfoss, Kyle Larson, Mikey Green, great lap for the 74, and Brad Mayolo, 10th quick. That is your top 10 there in Flight 2, Flight B. SCADA Field Smash Repairs qualifying here on night one of High Limit International. As I believe it was Kofoid that was fastest overall there, Nolte.
Yeah, 13.439 for Buddy Kofoid, so 0.3 quicker. Let's have a look at this lap. He's smooth, isn't he, to watch around the Perth Motorplex. And it was like this from the very first lap here on Wednesday.
Yeah, it did not take him much time to get acquainted to this racetrack, and that's going to happen when you've got your crew chief that you race 80, 90 times a year with in Dylan Buswell, and Buddy Kofoid taking a liking to the Motorplex here in Western Australia. We debut here on Friday night at this racetrack and in this car. Of course, he's been to Australia in the past. He was 7th in the 2020 running of the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic at Premier Speedway, but his first time to WA, and he is extremely fast.
It is his first time to WA, and he seems to have taken a liking to it after a dominant victory on Boxing Day. But this is not Boxing Day. This is night one of High Limit International, and this is even more windy, it feels like, than what you raced in back on Boxing Day. What is this track like with these conditions at the moment?
Honestly, it's kind of crazy. Like, it's probably hard to tell from the stands, but you go in the first corner and I'm like, get in good, and then I leave 2 and I feel like I'm like tipping over the right rear, gonna hit the fence again, and then get into 3 and it feels like it's pushing me into the corner and it's trying to pick the car up, and then go back to 1 and 2 again, and then I kind of change something and then I'm left the other way. So it's pretty unpredictable right now, but it's the same for everyone. I think it kind of makes it unique and tricky. So just going out early definitely was the key to getting a good time in, and but obviously we have a really good car. Trent Pigden gives us a really good piece, and Speedway Toyota gives us a really good hot rod to lay down a good time. So I just really want to thank Dylan, Nate, Lockie, Cameron, Tommy. We got a lot of really good people in the infield here and the back of the trailer work on this thing.
Hey, your crew is pretty sharp dressed. Do you have anything to say about their attire here at High Limit International? Lockie's looking for one comment in specific. He said he's dripped out with Prada sunglasses. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, Lockie is pretty dripped. Probably too dripped for the racetrack, but no, that's how he rolls. But
this is the most I've ever seen your crew chief Dylan Buswell smile. High Limit International brings the best out of people. Don't you agree?
Yeah, so does the World of Outlaws.
Oh, you didn't have to do that. There's Buddy Kofoid. I bet you wouldn't do it. No, I didn't. All right, Nate Nuts, Lockie, and Dylan Buswell will take the number 7 USA back to the pit area. I wasn't even fishing there, guys. I just wanted to talk about how fun High Limit International is. Right. Buddy Kofoid is your quick time driver.
I knew that was going to happen at some point this weekend there, Tony. And you, like you said, you weren't trying there, but we knew it was going to come at some point here throughout the next 3 nights here in Quinana Beach. But those folks right there, great job so far. They've won just about everything they've been a part of here at the Perth Motorplex between Boxing Day and night one of High Limit International. The fans are going to take a few moments to go grab something to eat and grab something to drink back behind the main stands there, and we're going to take a break here on FloRacing and come back with more action.
My name is Carson Macedo. I'm from Lemoore, California, and I'm here to race in Australia at the Perth Motorplex. Yeah, if I could describe my driving style, I would say I'm probably like a mix in between like a Jack Hodenshield and a Jason Myers. I know that's a big frame there, big window, but I don't think that I'm necessarily as calm and patient as Jason Myers, but I definitely think that I can go to the edge and race really hard on any given night and push it to the limit, and even go past that limit to try and get anything I need out of the race car. So I try to find a fine balance between that. Trying to be a points racer on the World of Outlaw Tour has kind of taught me to be a little bit more patient, but at the same time, you got to get up in the seat and race hard to win races. My first impression of the Perth Motorplex, I raced here a few years ago, actually when World Series came here, I think in 2017 or 18. But since then, coming back, it's been pretty unreal. They've done a lot of upgrades, a lot of things that are a lot nicer. It was nice then, and I think it's world first class now. So probably one of the nicest facilities that I've ever been to, and I think it's only going to continue to get better. So excited for the fans and all the action that we have to come. Yeah, if I could explain the standard of the drivers that are going to be here in this swing, I think these next, especially at High Limit, I think the next couple of weeks here, it's going to be an unreal field. I think you've got guys that are coming from High Limit, you got guys that are coming from the World of Outlaws, you got guys that are kind of just traveling all over the United States that have made the trip over. And then you've got first-class drivers like Dane Kingshot and Callum Williamson, a lot of American talent. I think it's going to be every bit as tough as winning an outlaw show or at a high limit show at this swing, especially the top 10, top 12 guys. So I think any fan that is going to miss any of these events is definitely going to miss out. Yeah, John McClellan's been kind enough to bring me out. J&S Racing, J&S Drilling Car. It's incredible opportunities. Put a lot of effort into this program, and just feels really good to be able to come over here and represent his team and hopefully put some good runs on the board for him. He's definitely, these guys have put their best foot forward. I know Keith Giles has worked really hard to make sure that everything's prepared properly, and you're just looking forward to working with him and hopefully, just giving John McClellan the runs and the finishes that he deserves.
Fast February is all about the festival of sprint cars. 5 massive nights of racing in 9 days. The Farthingale Australian Mr. Sprint Car National. For the performance race gear, Midweek Mayhem. The Total Tools Rookie and Cricket Ball Shootout. The nation's best riders, plus USA Top Guns. Motorplex.com.au.
At Total Tools, we won't be beaten on low prices. With all the top brands like the Kia, Milwaukee, DeWalt, Bosch, Pezline, Sitcrow, Sutton, Stanley, Detroit, Michigan, and more, we're the experts in tools for tradies. If you've got the job, we've got the tool. With access to over 60,000 tools for tradies, our low prices will not be beaten. Total Tools, low prices on every tool, for every trade, guaranteed.
Saturday night is Speedway night. A battle of the nations over 2 huge nights. American Top Gun, Reutzel, Bonacino, Zietlos and Whittle taking on Australian champion McFadden, Kingshot and Williamson on our home track. All out winged warfare. Stars in their cars. Wheel to wheel, wing to wing. 3-lift speed with grand final powered by...
My name's Callum Williamson. I'm 32 years old. I'm from Geelong, Western Australia, and I'm racing the 410 XXX KRE race car.
Tell us about how epic it is getting to race a guy like Dane, because you two have formed out such a great rivalry, and it seems to me that you push each other every night.
Yeah, we're like, me and him are like magnets at the track. We just can't get away from each other, which is it's good because I feel like me and him are at the same level now with racing, and one meeting he might push me to my limits, and then one meeting I might push him to his limits. So we're forever learning off each other, and I feel like I'm getting faster each week from his pace, and I don't know if he feels the same about him getting faster from my pace. So no matter what, we're there on the track side by side with each other. It's not like you can hide with what you want to do. Is we're racing flat out for those 10 laps in the heat race, or if it's 30 laps in the A main. You can't just have one lap of just relax. It's flat out the whole race now. Fan club came out of nowhere. It's just unreal. I think it started from one lady. She had a bit of something in her for like throat cancer, which was not good. And the only way she could cheer for me at the racetrack was having a horn. So everyone started getting around it in turn 1. So the turn 1 fan club sort of came out, and now it's a big thing. The horns is a big thing in turn 1 there. And
can you ever hear them in the race car when you're rolling by turn 1?
Yeah, I think it was the High Limit Series. Could definitely hear them into turn 1. I think that's when I won the Dash of Southern Pole. It's probably the first time I heard them, but there was that many of them, so you could definitely hear it.
In 3:19, Williams Williamson are fighting for the lead. Last time out it was the feature race. Williamson just hangs on to it. And the crowd will be stoked down at turn 1. That's where the fan club is.
Who is the hero force on your team? Who's the one person that you reckon you can go racing without?
It would be my crew chief, Brody Moller. I think it's a lot of drivers' hero would be their crew chief. He might be 22 years old now, but I look to him at the racetrack with what we need to do and what we need to change, and he pretty much well sets that car up to a T for us, and he's the one in the shed right now building the cars for us. Even on the weekends, he'll stay there till late to get things done, and without him it would be hard to go racing, but Brody does a good job.
Gives him windburn. Look at that blistering burst of speed.
Can you talk to us about having the American contingency here and what that is like over USA WA Speed Week, but also higher limits as well, and just how much it lifts you boys to another level?
Yeah, just hearing the nominations of drivers that come over is massive to us. Just to be able to race them, it's very hard for us Australians to get over there to ever race our heroes, I guess. I look up to a lot of Americans back at home watching their racing, so for them to come here and race us and we get to do it in our backyard on a track that we're familiar with is unreal. And if we can just be competitive enough to be able to just have a good race with them, it's pretty cool. You can go home and say, I beat Rico Abreu or I beat Brad Sweet. It's a pretty cool thing to have with you.
And he zips away. That is the Gerald jet that we know. Callum Williamson just went whoosh.
The high limit series, I definitely want to win that race. It'd be pretty cool, and I feel like last year we got third, and I think I could do a little bit better this year.
How great is it having a sponsor like Maddington Toyota to be able to help fund this series and bring the TV into the big prize money too?
Yeah, it's Maddington Toyota does a great job. We are pretty lucky to have them. I don't think there's ever been a SEG sponsor like them that I've ever raced with for the last 15 years. They obviously pour a lot of money into our sport, and we're starting to see the results. We've got I've probably gained 5-6 sponsors just because of the TV that we've been doing, and a lot of that would have started from budgeting with Maddington Toyota and what Jeff Kendrick has done with the SEG with them as well. So I hope they don't go anywhere. I hope we can still promote their brand to the most that we can do, and I hope we can show results with them selling cars as they like to do, and they keep putting money into our sport.
Perth Motorplex, talk to me. How are we feeling tonight, Western Australia? Oh, you guys will wake up there. Perth, how are we feeling? We're going to get them there a little bit later on. Welcome back to FloRacing's live coverage of the Perth Motorplex hosting High Limit International 2025. Tony LePorta, Chase Rodman, and Matt Nolte up in the booth, getting ready to bring you a full night of racing down here in front of the John Day Utes. This is just one of the many unique fixtures of racing here in Western Australia and at the Perth Motorplex that Chase and I learned so much about last year at High Limit International 2024. John Day, an integral part of the Perth Motorplex, and these Utes are a fun aspect of getting the cars fired off. We're getting ready for opening ceremonies here in just a little while, and I've got to tell you folks, Gavin Migro and the staff here at Perth Motorplex, well, they're promoters all the way to the core, and that's kind of my veiled way of telling you, whether you're here at the Motorplex or you're watching live on FloRacing, you are not going to want to miss these opening ceremonies. The drivers are all going to make their way down. They'll take a class photo. We'll talk to some of them. But before we even get to any of that, there is something very cool and very unique. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to give away too much. All I'm telling you is you better make sure you are somewhere where you can see this dirt track, whether that's here at the Motorplex or at home, wherever you may be watching from. We know folks are just starting to wake up back on the East Coast in the United States of America. Good morning and welcome to Western Australia. The Perth Motorplex is unlike any sprint car or dirt track you've probably ever seen before. Chase, Matt, the wind has not subsided here in the infield. That's probably why they're putting a little bit of more water down, but it's going to be a handful when these drivers get on track for the racing action But like I said, before we can even turn a wheel in competition, these opening ceremonies are going to have a little something extra. I know you guys know what's planned. I think the fans are going to get a big kick out of this in just a few moments.
Yeah, they certainly are, Tony. There's no question about that. We talked to Gavin Migro, I think it was on Friday. Maybe it was actually yesterday. I literally don't know what day it is.
It's just one day, isn't it?
It's exactly. I don't even know what's going on. But yeah, Gavin Migro let us know what's going on here. It's super cool, and they do so many extra things around here that just make the event feel bigger, and that's exactly what you're about to see here in a few moments, which is very exciting and keeping the fans on their toes. They're very good at that here at the Perth Motorplex.
Each year they'll keep adding more and more stuff to this. We'll see on the ground, in the air, behind the scenes action over the next 3 nights as well. It's not just a race meeting. We're throwing the meeting word in the bin. It's an event here, and it's just growing and growing each year. This is something that dates back to the Claremont days that you're seeing out here right now. The John Day Paceers, John Day that we lost several years ago. We miss him every day. None of these cars go out there looking dirty. They are cleaned every night. They are polished before every race meeting, and nowhere else in the country, maybe the world, does like this.
I've never seen it like this before. Obviously, we know many tracks have their own push trucks that show up there, LePorta, Knoxville, of course, but none of them are the exact same paint job, the exact same sticker package, the flags, the lights. Some of them got sparks flying off the back of them. I mean, it is legit. What they do with those John Day Utes. And, they keep updating this place as well, Matt. Something that was not here last year was that set of grandstands outside of turn number 2. I believe that is pretty new here recently. At least it wasn't here for High Limit International last year. And you can just see every time we come back, there is something new about the Perth Motorplex to check out.
Talk about checking out. Here comes the field out onto the Perth Motorplex. There's 42 of the best that make their way here. And we thank Maddington Toyota and Canning Vale Toyota for these amazing Tundras that will bring the drivers out here over the next 3 nights. Marcel Brazer and Paul Davies that's here tonight from Maddington Toyota, the IDM group that have backed this series for many, many years. And they're really passionate about seeing this event, not just this event, but this sport going forward.
Oh, yeah, Maddington Toyota is awesome, man. I mean, they gave us a truck to use for the week that we're here. Myself, Tony, and Mike Hess as well, driving around in a Maddington Toyota Tundra. And last year they gave us a van. I can't remember the name of the van, but it was like the greatest minivan I have ever sat in my life. It was unbelievable. There was like massage seats in the middle row. It was
Chase.
What?
Do you think what we were in last year was a minivan?
Yeah, I mean, or maybe not a minivan, like a.
That thing had like 8 seats in it. They were all captain's chairs.
Yep.
The folks at Maddington Toyota weren't loaning us a minivan. They were loaning us a cruise ship to travel around Perth, Western Australia last year. Brother, you gotta brush up your van knowledge. That thing was an absolute dreamboat to ride around in, and so is the Toyota Tundra. I think our Toyota Tundra that they've loaned us is the one that you see Buddy Kofoid, Brock Zierfoss, Rico Abreu, James McFadden jumping out of. I think it might be ours because Rico was commenting that you left the cab a little dirty, so you gotta talk to him about that later.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that van from last year, the cup holders had cup holders. I mean, it was it was that good.
Who drew the short straw, incidentally, on driving here? Because it is very different to home.
Well, last year was me in the van, and this year it's Mike, and he's already went down the road 3 times backwards. So
Chase,
we're keeping a tally on that. He keeps getting in on the wrong side of the car as well.
Brian Walker awake back home in the U.S., keeping everybody up to date on Highlander Racing social media with the assist here. It was a Toyota Grand Via.
Yes.
And Brian's description of that vehicle was, quote, best vehicle ever.
And it's not even in America. You can't get it in America.
No, we were trying to find out how to ship one back to the States so that way we all could roll around in that at High Limit in the U.S., have a little bit more room, maybe not try to kill each other so much as we crisscross the country.
We could almost have our own separate space in that thing. It was so big. It was awesome. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on when they get that thing going in the USA production for those vans. As there's a look at a couple of the drivers that are sitting down on the front stretch. This is something they do quite often here, right there, Matt? They always get the drivers out here for opening ceremonies, and everybody can see them.
Very big. In particular, the World Series Sprint Cars days back 5, 6, 7 years ago would get the drivers lined up with the crews behind them as well, and intro them one by one. Something very special that they've done here. Hey, I want to say a big shout out to our Western Australian late model drivers who drove the Tundras out with the drivers in the back there. So they're supporting that. They know that this is such a big event. We'll see the late models supporting High Limit International over the next 3 nights.
Yeah, there's going to be a different support class every night. The speed cars, and then they've got the late models, obviously, and the other one is I can't rack my brain right now. What's the other support class we got later on? Is the 500s.
That's it, Formula 500s.
Yes, the Formula 500s will also be here on one of the nights as well for High Limit International. And this is something they've been very excited about as well, is this big truck with the Australian and the American flag on the back of it. Sean Carrot at Gold Star Transportation has been telling me all about this thing, and it is quite the contraption they got there to get this thing going.
I thought this was the car you were driving around last year.
No,
perhaps.
it kind of looks like it, though. About the same size.
Sean Carron, who's done so much for Western Australian Speedway, that is his business, incidentally. Gold Star Transport has been servicing Western Australia for decades now. And if you're here at the venue, you need to go and check out that amazing display that's on in the pit paddock area. We've got some cars from legendary names like Steve Kinser, Danny Lasowski, our own Gary Rush's cars are on display, all remakes of the cars that ran many, many years ago.
Yeah, it is fantastic. You've got to get over there and check out that tent next to the Gold Star Transportation hauler that takes Brock Searfoss's car around. I mean, it is incredible. They've got a little plaque there with good details about each car and whatnot. It is super cool, and it's been very, very busy in that tent here for the last couple of days. Now let's go downstairs. It sounds like opening ceremony is about to get ready.
We acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people as the traditional owners of the land which our venue stands. We pay our respects to the elders, past, present and emerging.
Hi everyone and welcome to Perth Motorplex. This venue is recognised as one of the finest of its kind anywhere in the world. Part of what makes this place so special is our focus on safety. So please take a moment to listen carefully. The Motorplex is located near industrial areas that deal with hazardous substances. While the risk to us here is very low, in the unlikely event of an emergency, it's important you follow all instructions given over the PA system and super screens. If an evacuation is required, you'll be directed either back to your vehicles or, if you don't have a vehicle, to the designated safe areas around the venue. If you are returning to your vehicle, please follow all instructions when leaving the premises. And, if possible, tune into Motorplex 98.8 FM. As always, a reminder that motorsport is dangerous, as noted at the venue entry and on the back of your ticket. The action can also get loud and sudden, so earplugs and ear muffs are available from the merchandise shop. For your comfort and enjoyment, smoking and vaping are not permitted in spectator areas. If you need to smoke or vape, please use the 2 designated areas located on the top thoroughfares. Speedway racing is raw, intense and thrilling. It's all about driver skill, bravery and the perfect car setup. And right here, you're looking at a speedway oval track regarded by drivers worldwide as one of the very best. Get ready for speed, big slide jobs and plenty of racing lines. And don't forget, all ticket holders are welcome to head into the pit paddock area between events to meet the teams, check out the cars up close and feel the atmosphere behind the scenes. Make sure you follow us on socials and check in tonight. Share your experience here at Perth Motorplex. If you wish to tune in to track commentary, you can follow the Perth Motorplex page on the My Race Pass app or 98.8 FM. We hope you, your family and your mates have an awesome night. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand, remove your headwear and join us for the blessing of tonight's racing by our track chaplain.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Perth Motorplex here on this beautiful summer's night. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Chris Locke. I'm one of the chaplains here, and it is truly an honour to welcome you to day number 1 of the High Limit International. And what a stellar lineup we've got of drivers, the John Day Utes, all the staff and volunteers that have put so much time and effort into making this an amazing event already. And let me say, I noticed a few posts online over the last couple of days, people down at the beach. Rico was doing some posting this afternoon, and the guys down at Cottesloe, even Brad Shearer was posting from the beachfront. And I know for one fact that the guys here, Gavin and the team, were here at Kwinana Beach making this track ready for what is going to be a sensational night. So why don't we put our hands together for the track crew, the staff, the volunteers that have made this such a great evening already. And if you would join me as we pray. Lord, we thank you so much for motorsport, for the Speedway, for the fans, for the crews, the staff, the drivers, all the people that put so much time and effort and they pour their heart and souls into this sport to make it a great, entertaining event. And we do ask tonight that you would be here with all the people involved, that you'd give us a safe and a really entertaining night. And at the end of it, we'd all go home safely with some great memories. And Lord, we look forward to it all with your blessing in Jesus' name. Amen. And ladies and gentlemen, would you remain standing for the singing of the American and Australian national anthems by Martina Erpen and Troy Fleming.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights and the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Perth Motorplex, are you ready to go racing? Now we've got our full field of drivers hanging out down here on the inside of the front straightaway. How about you give them a big round of applause, Western Australia? Say hello to some of your country and our country's best in the United States. Now, we've got a beautiful looking field of drivers here. I'm looking at you, James McFadden. But we are missing one driver. I don't know if you can pick out, but we're missing one of our race car drivers here on the front straightaway. He was quite successful here 1 year ago in his debut at the Perth Motorplex. And if you point your eyes towards the sky, that's his weekend ride, his weekend daily driver making its way in to the Perth Motorplex. Look up towards Slam turn number 3, ladies and gentlemen. He just picked up his second NASCAR Cup Series championship. He was the first ever High Limit Series champion, and he's back to defend his High Limit International title with a briefcase full of 100,000 of your dollars, Australia. Would you say hello and welcome to the Perth Motorplex, Kyle Larson! After picking up the High Limit International title 1 year ago here in his first trip ever to the Perth Motorplex, Chase, can you believe it? Kyle Larson borrowed your vehicle, your personal mode of transportation, and he has arrived here at the Perth Motorplex. We're going to go talk to him for just a quick second.
Yeah, they had to ship that thing on a cargo ship. Obviously, you can't fly from America to Western Australia on a helicopter, so they had to put down the cargo ship, and then we let Kyle borrow it. And, what's special with that is you see that briefcase he's got, folks. That was the briefcase that was awarded to the winner of High Limit International last year with 100,000 Gavin Migro bucks in it. And there it is being returned to Gavin right there in the infield. And very cool stuff here from Perth Motorplex. They are pulling out all the stops as the helicopter is going to take back off. And Tony, I know you're standing by. with Kyle Larson now.
Kyle, you've made some big entrances at big events at big racetracks all over the world. Have you ever done anything like that?
No, I think only helicoptered out of racetracks probably, but no, that was really cool. I was a bit actually nervous because of how windy it is, but
I would have been too.
Yeah, but that was probably the smoothest helicopter I've ever been on.
Let's keep making our way up here to the full field of drivers. Folks, he just picked up his second NASCAR Cup Series championship. He's a co-owner and the inaugural champion of High Limit Racing. And we already talked about it. He just dropped off. He returned the briefcase to Gavin Migro. They're going to put $110,000 in that to go racing again here in 2 nights' time. Perth Motorplex, how about it? Here he is, Kyle Larson! Go join the rest of your field of competition and let them know how cool that helicopter was, all right?
All right.
Kyle Larson joins the full field of competitors here at High Limit International 2.0. Gavin Migro, he never misses an opportunity to make a show out of things. Perth Motorplex, now your full field is in front of you. Let them hear it one more time.
42 of the best drivers, many of them from the United States of America, but most of them from right here in WA, some from the East Coast as well. And boy, this is going to be a whole lot of fun.
We're going to get ready for Perth Motorplex staff here to visit with the American drivers and hand out a bit of some goodies. Australian guys, sorry, you don't get any goodies here, unfortunately. Beard oil for James, perhaps. Brad Sweet, where are you? The folks upstairs are wanting to talk to you, so here we go. You just got into town, yesterday, late afternoon, I think. Long trip over. But I talked to Kyle about this during pre-race. How cool is it? Take off the race car driver hat for a moment. And at the helm of High Limit, to see this event here with this caliber of field, what does this mean to you?
Yeah, it's really neat. I was just telling Kyle that was a pretty sketchy looking helicopter ride, so that was pretty cool. But that's a testament what Gavin and the team do here. They no holds on the entertainment value for the fans, and all the American drivers coming over to compete with Aussie's best. It's just awesome for the fans. It's awesome for High Limit Racing, and just thankful for all the fans to come out. It's really fun to see the atmosphere down in the pits. Fun to see how, the event grow, from the first year, or, from an idea with me and Gavin to, where it's at now is pretty neat. So I think there's a lot of good years ahead for High Limit International here at Perth, and I can't thank Perth enough, and obviously all you fans. So hopefully we put on 3 days of very good entertainment for you guys, and just appreciate you coming out.
I want to get your opinion. When the Outlaws did Outlaws Down Under, 10, 15 years ago, whenever that was, that changed Australian sprint car racing. A lot of people tell you that. James talked about it on the High Limit Room. It's been a while. High Limit International brings American sprint car racing back to Australia. What's the wide-reaching impact you think this series and this event will have on this nation's sprint car racing?
Yeah, I just think Australian sprint car racing deserves an event of this caliber. I think Perth Motorplex deserves this attention, this international attention, with all the effort that they put in, and how beautiful the facility is and how good the racing is. So it's just kind of an honor to be a part of it, really. And I think when more and more talent kind of comes into this region, it just elevates the event even more. And everybody talks about the event, year after year, and brings more and more people here. So I think it'll elevate, all of sprint car racing in Australia. And I think honestly, the more big events that we can grow across the world and more attention that we can bring to sprint car racing, the better for all of us.
How about it, folks? Make some noise for last year's High Limit champion in 2024, Brad Sweet. They haven't told me to quit asking drivers questions yet, so I got to talk to you. Who was here on Boxing Day and saw what Corey Day did, going from the very back to second? Hey, you got a gift back there. You and Cole Macedo were going over. Cool shades, Cole. What'd you get? Show us what Gavin hooked you guys up with.
I actually haven't opened it yet, so I don't know.
Oh, this is like a live unboxing on Corey Day's YouTube.
You got a boomerang here.
They said that's because we're always welcome back. Did you know that?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's nice of them. Got some sort of jersey or something. Nice. What else? Oh, Tim Tams. Yeah, I had these on the plane. I'm a big fan of these. I do enjoy those.
Yo, Tim Tam slap.
Yeah, they're really good. Some Vegemite. I actually did have this. Callum, my teammate / car owner, did put this on some toast for me, and I did like it. It actually is not bad.
Whoa! You're standing next to the guy who said that he didn't like meat pies here 1 year ago, so you're off on a good foot.
Yeah, no, it's actually good. I would eat it again. I'm not lying about that. So, no, I'm serious. And then, yeah, I actually did see a kangaroo the other day. That was cool. People were telling me I was not going to see them on this side of the country, so that was cool to see one of those. Not sure what this is. I have to give that a try.
Chocolate mix.
Yeah.
You can make anything chocolate with that, apparently.
Okay, yep, I'll give that a try.
Tony, I was told you're supposed to mix the Vegemite with that.
You're supposed to mix the Vegemite, I guess, with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Chocolate Vegemite.
I don't think I do that. Got some shapes. Vegemite and cheese. I might try those. I like Vegemite. So.
Shapes. I failed that class in high school. Hey, you had a great run here on Boxing Night. What do you make of this Perth Motorplex? Conditions are still rough, like Boxing Day, but maybe even more treacherous. Tell the folks at home what this track's like.
Yeah, I think it is windier than it was on Boxing Day, so that'll definitely throw a wrench in it for us drivers tonight. But yeah, this place is absolutely badass. It would be one of the top 3 tracks I've ever raced at in my life, whether it was in the States or over here. So yeah, it's a blast to race at. It was definitely right up my alley there the other night. Being up on the wall with a nice curb. So I'm hoping we get that the next couple nights. And yeah, what Gavin and the whole team here at Perth Motorplex has done is unbelievable, and it's a privilege to be able to come this far around the world to come racing.
All right, well, fill up on some Vegemite and give us another show like 2 nights ago, okay?
Yeah, we'll do.
That is Corey Day. Chase Rodman gave him the nickname New Money. You got Kyle Larson, who's Young Money. There goes New Money. That is Corey Day. How about it one more time, folks, for this field of drivers? They're getting ready to take a class photo. They can hear you. Let them know you appreciate their attendance here tonight. And now all of you in the gold seats are going to get to be a part of this class photo. So we're going to get the full field of drivers here all lined up and ready to go. And we're going to need you guys to get nice and excited, get up and down. Chase, wave your hands in the air. You're about to be in the class photo.
Yeah, I'm not in that section, Tony, unfortunately. I'm over here to the your right, so I can't, your right, my left, I'm not in the photo, unfortunately. But maybe tomorrow night I can get in the photo. But we did just see Gavin Migro on the screen there for a moment. If for those of you wondering, if you were from the United States, did not know who that was, the guy with the Kubota High Limit Racing shirt on, Gavin Migro, the promoter of the Perth Motorplex, and boy, oh boy, does he have some big ideas. And one of them was that helicopter drop-in for Kyle Larson, and it went off without a hitch there, Tony.
Let's see if he has a thought on it. Gav, the man in charge here at the Perth Motorplex, you do a great job with this place. What do you think of that opening ceremonies? Kyle said it felt a little sketchy coming in, but it was fun.
Yeah, we got the Top Gun helicopter pilot to fly me in, which was so cool. Such a wonderful atmosphere here tonight. We're really, really proud, and it's not lost on us the opportunity we've been given to do high limit. It's amazing, and the fans are all up and about. They were here early in the morning, so we're really ready to rock this joint.
You do such a great job with this facility. What else can fans look forward to over these next 3 nights? It's preparing to be, just like last year, but this year more money on the line, the richest paying sprint car race in your nation's history. What can fans look forward to?
Well, the prelims next year, I'm going to give you a little sneak preview. The prelims next year will be $20,000 to win the prelims.
Wow, all right, look at that, a promoter through and through. Perth Motorplex, he's your man in charge, your fearless leader. Let Gavin Migro hear it. How about it? They do a fantastic job here, Matt and Chase. We're fortunate to get to have such a good seat and watch this racing with these world-class drivers up close and personal. Now all the pomp and circumstances over, it's time to go racing for High Limit International 2025 preliminary night number 1. Action set to begin very, very soon.
Yep, very soon. The drivers climbing back into those Maddington Toyota Tundras, and they'll make their way back to the pit area, get themselves prepared for heat race action. And if that doesn't get you excited for some racing, Matt, I'm not really sure what was. They do it right here at Perth.
And this is just night 1. And we talked about this afternoon before we went live. We had a pre-race show that went on in the pits. They just find different ways to make this better. Even after 1 year, the planning started straight away on the next morning on how to make this better, to make this an iconic part of Aussie motorsport, and not just Speedway, but Australian motorsport.
Yeah, the entire entrance last year, right after driver intros with that briefcase and the guys in the tuxedos. I mean, it was so much fun to be a part of, and I know they've got more fun stuff like that planned when we get to that finale portion on Tuesday night for that big $110,000 payout as those Tundras make their way off the speedway. The first thing we'll see when it comes to racing action tonight will actually be the speed cars. A really good field of cars here tonight for that division, and it's going to be fun to show off the local divisions here, the non-sprint car divisions as well. All 3 nights, a different support class will be here with High Limit International to help show off those drivers as well.
And a massive opportunity for our classes, our divisions over here in the West. They know the magnitude of this event that's been put on. Yeah, they'd love to all be part of it on the night. It simply cannot happen, but they'll get a shot to play on the big stage here. They see the big picture. I want to bring Dan Leach in on this conversation as well. You're the regular voice here at the Motorplex these days. It's a different feeling here tonight, isn't it?
You better believe it. There's a lot more people that come through because there's a lot of expectation of what the American drivers bring to, obviously not just the next 3 nights, but the whole of the USAV WA Speed Week. But as you say, for the speed cars, the late models tomorrow night, the Formula 500's happening on Tuesday night, as I try and work out the days as well. They get the chance to show their wares in front of not just a big crowd here, but internationally, people watching on FloRacing as well, which is fantastic to see.
We're very spoilt here. I don't live here like I used to back in the day, but everyone here, I think, sometimes take this place for granted. And when you go away and travel to different racetracks, you come back here and have a different appreciation for just how good this is.
The amount of times that we have interstate drivers or American drivers come to Perth and rave about not just the speedway track, but the facilities, the pits area, just the overall sort of presentation of this place. You're right, a lot of race fans here in the West do take it for granted. There might be, one occasion where one thing just sets you off and you're like, no, I don't want to come here. You don't realise what you've got until you go to other places, not just around the country, but around the world. I mean, we've heard Rico talk about this being a top 3, top 5 venue in the entire world. It is such a special venue. When you get a shot like that with the sun setting, it is absolutely mint.
I'll bring Chase back into this too, because you've travelled to USA the last 10 years or so now, and we get paid to talk up racing, talk up places where we go, but this is something special.
It really is. The one place that I can really compare it to is with the drag strip and all that stuff, right? I mean, it is the Lucas Oil Speedway in Missouri. We go there several times next year on the Highland Racing Tour for the Daniel McMillan Memorial along with Jesse Hocken Memorial. Looking forward to that, but that is a facility that it rivals this, in my opinion. Those are the top 2, at least to me. And obviously, you got Knoxville up there and you've got Eldora, but to me, it's Perth. And it's neck and neck, Perth and Lucas Oil, because, I mean, the grass is always green, the grass is mowed, everything is in pristine condition. You mentioned, you used a different word to say and describe this place, but I just feel like the experience that you have when you are here is different than any other place, at least that I've been to personally. And like you said, I mean, at least for the last 5 years, doing the Outlaw Tour and now doing the High Limit Tour, we go to a lot of different racetracks, and it is rare, very rare to see something like this.
Chase, quickly, you just mentioned before, lots of improvements that continue every single year. As you mentioned, Turn 2 has a new little grandstand, so always looking to improve here at the Motorplex.
Can't wait for it. It's another chapter in the books here, the 26th season of the Perth Motorplex, the second chapter that is the High Limit International. It's time to get this show started. We welcome you to the Perth Motorplex here in Western Australia. If it's your first time, great to have you along for the ride. If it's not your first, it may be your 10th, your 20th, your 300th. I'm sure that feeling still runs through the veins as the speed cars, the midgets, make their way out for their first event of the night here supporting High Limit International. They were with us on Boxing Night, part of the Esslinger Triple Crown event, and much like the sprint cars, a high-quality field of speed cars.
Indeed, when they put some decent money out on there, the speed cars, they come to the fore, and $5,000 on the line tonight, and over the next 3 events, or at least this is the second of 3 events, then they are racing for some very good money as well. On Boxing Night, we saw that Caden Brown was a big winner here at the Motorplex, winning the feature race from Jake Andreotti from Castro Valley in California. And Jake Robinson, great performance from him. He is showing some great consistency in the speed car division so far to start season 25 in 2026.
So we'll push away in just a few moments' time. And part of our 3-prong attack here tonight at the Perth Motorplex with the Total Tools Rockingham speed cars about to be pushed away is Chris Mitchell, looking rather dapper on the infield. What you wearing tonight, mate?
You got to look the part. Hand finished off by our very own Veronica McCann. We're just rolling with this little piece on the side here. We got to do our bit for High Limit International, and you know I like to stand out like a sore thumb. So bright red is the piece, right?
Give us a sense down there, mate, of how the feeling is, the atmosphere it's building. On a Saturday night one.
It's electric, it's amazing, it's also windy, if we hadn't already alluded to that enough. It's going to be really tough for our speed car drivers right now, the Total Tools of Rockingham speed cars, to come to grips with the conditions. The sun was out, the track was a little drier when they rolled out for their hot laps and qualifying. Now it's heat racing time, it's just copped a little bit of water. It is going to be really interesting to see who can cope with the conditions the best as for the second round of the Esslinger Speed Car Triple Crown.
Chris Mitchell on the infield here tonight at Perth Motorplex. Dan Leach alongside me, Matt Nolte in the commentary position. The field of 10 looks like this.
Corey Smith's going to start from the front along with Alfie Gordonino in car number 16. The second row has Vaughan Manders in the 57, and the man who was ultra quick on Boxing Night, Caden Brown in the N38. Row 3 has Patrick Watson in the 23 and Joel Watson in the 75. Position 7 will be Isaiah Manich in the 5 car, Gary Mann next to him on row 4, and row 5, Chris Dimmick in the 6 and Bo Rogers in car number 85. We had 2 qualifying sessions just a short time ago before the main festivities got underway. Caden Brown was 1.2 seconds quicker than his nearest rival in this particular group. He went an 18.863. Vaughan Manders was in a 20.0. So no doubt that Caden Brown is looking to completely obliterate the crew that he is racing against tonight. And we're here for Total Tools Rockingham. At Total Tools, they proudly stand by the motto, every tool, every trade. You can find them at totaltools.com.au, Unit 1, 101 Dixon Road, Rockingham. Total Tools, every tool, every trade. Round 2 of the Esslinger Triple Crown.
So forming up in just a few moments behind the John Day Pace Ute. Our support cat tonight being the speed cars. You watch Joel Watson, the Trade Australia entry, the beautiful black, white and orange, number 75. And like sprint cars, it has been a hotbed of speed cars over the years here. Probably the biggest field we have nationwide now, all race over here in the West. A few of them took the journey over to Adelaide to run up on the pop-up speedway there supporting the supercars during the November period. Sadly, that was washed out on the 3rd and final night. But certainly we've seen some great names come out of this part of the world over the years.
And as you were mentioning, we get to see some decent numbers. You're always seeing somewhere between 60 and 20 cars at most of the weekends that we have here at the Motorplex. And to be able to attract someone like Jake Andreotti back to Western Australia to race around here after he managed to take the Triple Crown last year, took 2 wins under his belt. It is great to see. Alfie Guadagnino in the second of the Stainless Faster Supplies cars. Car number 16 he's in tonight out of Manjimup. Finished 7th on Boxing Day just a couple of nights back and has a 6th under his belt during the John Day Classic, which is one of the big races for the speed cars that was held here about 3 weeks ago. There's the shot you can see down the front straight. It is such a monster crowd that we have, and it's only going to get bigger, this crowd, over the next 2 nights. So they're going to do some hot laps around just to get back acquainted with the track and also get used to these very windy conditions. I did have a quick little check at the forecast for the next couple of days or so. It's going to be pretty windy once again tomorrow and maybe just easing off by the time we get to grand final night. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that indeed does happen. As we mentioned, very windy on Boxing Day, but probably windier here today. It's something that we're very used to here at Kwinana Beach at the Perth Motorplex. but still, it is something you have to contend with big time.
We're only a few minutes drive, probably not even 2 minutes drive to Kwinana Beach behind our commentary position here. So these cars won't feel a buffeting effect as hard as a sprint car, or maybe even a Formula 500 with the aerofoil wings on top that they run. But certainly a handful in these conditions. When you get that crosswind, looking out of our window now, it's probably going more up the main, the Opal Finance main straight than it is across the track, which we commonly see. Turn 3 really unsettles a sprint car in these kind of conditions. As they get the form-up boards, our digital boards here at the Perth Motorplex to form them up into position. Heat 1 of the night, the Total Tools Rockingham Speed Car supporting the second instalment of the High Limit International in front of a packed front straight. Some people lined up as early as 10 to 7 this morning to get into the main gates. They love their motor racing in this part of the world. They love their speedway, and they know how big the crowds will be over the next 3 nights.
So the speed cars have one group of heats coming up here. Then the top few cars will be involved in a dash, as well as a mid-pack dash later on. And then their 25-lap feature happens later on tonight, the first of our 2 features here at Perth Motorplex. So we're about to get our first racing action in anger here on FloRacing on this 28th of December, night 1 of High Limit International. It's Corey Smith and Alfie Guadagnino off the front. Green lights come on, and off we go racing. Trying to sneak up on the inside there was Vaughan Manders in the 57 car as they swing underneath the Maddington Toyota cable cam and rocketing down the Triple M back straight. So it's a pretty decent start from the first couple. Vaughan Manders contact further back, Alfie Guadagnino involved, and that also has a bit of a chain reaction with the 97 of Gary Mann also involved too. Out the front, Corey Smith managed to get himself in front.
How did they roll over? There's more contact in the middle of turn 2 now. The Maddington Toyota car. Poor old Fonzie, he'll be hating life out there in the 16. He was hit 1 in and 1 out at the end of the first lap as Smith goes through to complete another lap ahead of Caden Brown. Vaughan Manders, look at this challenge at the front. Wheel-to-wheel action from the wild and wingless speed cars here tonight.
Fighting back is Corey Smith on the inside. Caden Brown, though, looks like he's got the better angle getting out of Schlam turn number 3. And he manages to put his nose in front and watch him just get away from here. You'd suggest if we've seen what we've seen over the last couple of nights or so, he has got a rocket ship underneath him. And look at the gap he's already created between himself and Corey Smith. And then back to Vaughan Manders as Alfie Guadagnino once again battling away there further back in the field. This time it is with Patrick Watson, Joel Watson and Gary Mann as well.
So Gary Mann out there in the 97 machines puts Guadagnino back into 7th spot now ahead of Watson, Rogers. And Isaiah Matic is at the back of the field as Caden Brown. Quick glimpse out of how much moisture is in the surface. That right rear tyre steaming the water out of the surface in the middle of turn 3 as he continues to lead under the Maddington Toyota cable cam. And down the back straight from Smith. Vaughan Manders, a big crash up there in turn 2. I just caught out the corner of my eye. And upside down. We'll pick that up for you at the moment. It's at Watson. It is Joel Watson in car 75. You know it's big when it catches your attention out the window. And he's come back down on all 4 wheels. Straight away, Perth Motorplex rescue crew on the scene. Pick up the man that was rated in 5th position. It's a red lights on the speedway with Brown, Smith, Manders and Dimmick. The top 4. Interesting to see they've given a disqualification sign to Alfie Guadagnino. So the 16 is going to the infield.
So he may have been involved in some incidents that we've seen so far as Alfie Guadagnino, as we have a look at the replay right now. Guadagnino, low side, just rolls straight up to the 75 car of Joel Watson. And the stewards making quick time of deciding that that is not appropriate and you are out of the race.
You know, the curb actually pushed him back then. He tried to climb the curb, but it pushed the momentum of the car up into the 75. But stewards have made the call to bench the 16 or the 75. That is a ride on the wild side for Joel Watson, who was rated in 4th position on the FloRacing replay at that point. And red lights on the speedway here on lap 5.
Good news is that Joel Watson is out of the car, folks. Let's give him a round of applause for getting himself out of the car and getting himself a very wild ride. You mentioned the curb that he went over there, Alfie Guadagnino, and for those that might only be sort of watching it on TV, it is cut in deep into the track as well, and when you hit that curb, it is quite abrasive, and so it can cause some troubles, especially for some of the smaller cars that are part of the speedway here. And the speed cars that can indeed create some havoc.
Saw Charlie Cutter standing there, guys, and he's at every High Limit Racing event throughout the 2025 season as one of the safety guys, one of the fire safety officials, and he was down there assisting with that crash. And he's great to have here, man. Like I said, he's at every High Limit race. He knows what he's doing. He's very good at his job, and so that was good to see him down there checking in on Joel Watson there. So just High Limit Racing trying to make things even better here, Perth. I know you guys have a great safety crew and whatnot, but he's going to be a great addition as well.
Yeah, great point you bring up too, Chase. We've had officials and safety people go across each side of the country. We've got Brad Shearer here from Knoxville Raceway, incidentally. He and Mikey Rimmer have worked together on track prep over there at Knoxville Raceway, so Brad comes down here. I still think they come down here to escape that cold weather, Leach.
100%, yeah, absolutely.
As good as the racing is, nobody likes, what was it, negative 21?
I was going to say, don't worry, I've been watching some NFL games over the last week or so. There's been some tundras, absolute frightening conditions that if you had that in Australia, I think there'd be some people burning down houses in order to stay warm. Don't know how you do it in the United States. So the 5 car of Isaiah Manage just about to get pushed away as the rest of the cars are on the track. Now, here at the Motorplex, for any Americans that might be switching on for the first time, instead of having a manual cone out on track that is pulled over by a rope for the cars to go round on the opening lap of a restart, we have a little man called Coney next to Campbelltown Hobbies. It is a mechanical cone. It is an RC sort of production that's been put together by Chris Mitchell. There is our man Coney. Has its own merchandise.
It's absolutely the best.
Has raised money constantly for charities. It is doing amazing things, Coney. And when that thing can start talking, then and becomes a cartoon series, then we're in big strife. Right, 3 laps remaining. Heat 1 of the Total Tools Rockingham Speed Cars. Round 2 of the Esslinger Engineering Triple Crown. Hayden Brown out the front. And you'd suggest he's going to keep that spot as well. Corey Smith has put in a very good drive, though, but he's about to see some pressure with Vormander starting to come through and Chris Dimmick as well. That's the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th as they go through the wall cam down the front straight. Here comes Vormanders on the inside of Corey Smith. Manders goes through on the inside down the Triple M back straight and gets himself into 2nd.
Good run for Vaughan Manders here tonight, the 57. Yeah, the dad of Caden Manders, who's out in the 57 machines. He goes up to 2nd place now, only 1.8 seconds away from our race leader. Not sure he's going to catch the race leader, Caden Brown, who's just disappeared down the Triple M back straight in car number 38 as he's up towards the mid-high track line. Out of turn 4, he wins in this shortened race with a red flag from Vanders, Smith, Dimmick and Patrick Watson home in the top 5. Gary Mann 6th and Beau Rogers home for 7th in the 85 machine. And Isaiah Matic finishing in 8th spot there. The only DNF going to Joel Watson after that big collision between he and the Fonz. Alfonso Guadagnino, who came together in the middle of turn 2, resulting in the 75 going end for end up at the Maddington Toyota turn 2. Here's the highlights.
So off the start, you had Corey Smith on the front. Vormanders trying to sneak his way on the inside and almost managed to take the lead. Were further out, you saw Alfie Guadagnino in the 16 car. He made a bit of contact there with the 57 of Vormanders and kept things interesting. And it's fair to say Alfie Guadagnino was in the wars for most of that, having a lot of trouble just trying to get to grips with the car. And unfortunately, he saw the end of Joel Watson's night after he crashes into the wall. Heavy contact that was made. You can see parts of the car flying off through the fences as well. On the restart, Caden Brown looked just real quick on this track. Vormanders, though, put in a real good performance towards the back end of that race. He finished 2nd from Corey Smith, but Caden Brown too quick. And he is going to be in victory lane right now with Chris Mitchell.
Once again as well, he was in victory lane 3 times on Burson Auto Parts. Boxing night, claimed his heat win, his dash win, and then went on to win the opening round of the Esslinger Engineering Speed Car Triple Crown on Boxing Night, presented by the Pool Shop Group. Caden Brown, welcome back, mate. How are you feeling tonight?
Yeah, I felt pretty good there. The track was quite tricky at the start with how much water they put on it, so just kind of had to keep it tidy, keep it clean for those first couple of laps and just try and navigate through that traffic at the start. And then as it started to dry out, I could start kind of experimenting around, trying to find the quickest parts on the track, and as I was able to do that, the car responded really well. So happy for the start of the night. Hopefully we can continue on.
Quickly, there's more than 5,000 people here complaining about the wind right now. How much does it really affect your drive in a speed car?
It doesn't affect us too much. Obviously, we don't have the big wings like the sprint cars do that affect aerodynamics. So I think it's probably more just where the wind's hitting the track at the moment for us and where it's drying it out more so than the wings. So yeah, not too much harder.
There you go, Caden Brown takes the win in Heat 1 of the Total Tools Rockingham Speed Cars for the Esslinger Speed Car Triple Crown. We'll go out to Bryony Ingerston in the pits with Dane Kingshot.
Well, I'll tell you what, the wind hasn't died down much, Dane. Hey, congratulations. Really strong effort in qualifying, but it puts you at P4 for the heat. What can you do?
Yeah, we just we finished P4, like anywhere in the top 4 there, we'll make the dash. So we'll try and make some spots up if we can. If not, we'll just try and finish where we sort of started and lock it into the dash.
How is this KMS Hot Rod treating you so far, this event this summer?
Yeah, we've been pretty good at the start of this season here. So we're still building, we're still getting better every time we come. So that's the main thing. And yeah, good start to tonight, but it doesn't get any easier from here. So we just got to keep going.
As far as shows goes, they don't get much bigger than this. All the big names are here. How does that change your approach? Are you intimidated? Could you not care less?
No, I think we don't have any small races in Perth anymore. They're all big races, so there's always tough competition, and we just have to do our best on the night and don't worry too much about who's here. We'll just see where we stack up.
All right, plenty of local support for you. Go get them.
Thank you very much.
And no stranger himself, Dane Kingshot to a speed car, 5-time WA champion, if you don't mind, and former Aussie champ in his own right, now behind the wheel of the famous Cricky Motorsports Hot Rod, the Mobil 1 Bunbury Toyota number 2, the quickest of the Aussies earlier in qualifying for the High Limit International. They'll be out soon for their first and only round of heat races. We look across the magnificent Motorplex as the second heat of the speed cars form up, supporting tonight's event.
And the grid is going to look a bit like this, with Keenan Fleming and Jake Robinson going to come from the front row here in this second heat. Bo Doyle in the 51 next to the Californian, the USA 4 of Jake Andriotti. William Douglas on row 3 in the 61 next to Matt Iwanow, who's made his debut in speed cars just a couple of nights ago and looked pretty pacey. Justin Felton and Lockie Marshall will be on row number 4, and Nick Rowe is subbing in for Rob Golding in the 15 car tonight, and he will be at the back of the pack. It is, as we said, round 2 of the Esslinger Engineering Triple Crown. For over 30 years, Esslinger Engineering has produced race and championship winning speed car engines over the past decade. Esslinger engines have won more speed car and midget races around the world than any other engine manufacturer. So if you want more details, esslingerracing.com is their website. You can also contact their Australian dealer, American Tyre and Racing Service.
Nick Rowe, not a bad substitute for Rob Golding tonight at 15, if you don't mind. Crackers Fleming will start off the front row. Keenan Fleming, who was in Adelaide as well this year. Jake Robinson, who's had a couple of starts in the Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series. Bo Doyle out in the 51. Gee, it's a stacked field, this one, Leachy.
Yeah, when you get Jake Andriotti starting from position number 4 for Graham Jones Racing, you know that there's going to be some quality in this, but like you say, Keenan Fleming, Jake Robinson, very good the other night. Bo Doyle as well. Matty Iwanow, watch for them all. Let's go racing for heat number 2 of the speed cars here on FloRacing, and Keenan Fleming gets a strong start off the line. He manages to get away from Jake Robinson. Watch for Andriotti to swing round the outside out of Maddington Toyota turn number 2, and he will take up 3rd spot for the time being. And he's going to try and chase down Jake Robinson. Keenan Fleming has about a 4-car length lead at the moment.
Beautiful conditions tonight for speed cars around the Perth Motorplex as we work lap 2 through Maddington Toyota turn 2. And the 61 of Will Douglas just kissing the wall there on the exit of 2. Manages to make a pass on the way down into turn 3 and 4, the Slam Group turn, and down the Opal Finance main straight. Fleming leads from Robinson, Andriotti up to 3rd and just 1.4 seconds away. That's the gap, 1st, 2nd and 3rd.
And Nick Rowe further back, just starting to make up some ground as well in that Rob Golding car number 15. But Keenan Fleming has stretched away. He goes to 16.7. He's about 3/10 of a second quicker than anybody else on the track right now, and stretches the lead to 1.2 seconds on Jake Robinson. And the car you see there in 3rd is Jake Andriotti, as we mentioned, for Graham Jones Racing. Nick Rowe is starting to close the gap right now on Bo Doyle and is racing really well. Watch out behind him. Matt Iwanow also getting involved.
He's on the charge. Challenge for position down here at the bottom turn. They'll play a bit of switcheroo. It's 3 wide for a moment, coming out of turn 2 and down the Triple M back straight. In what's going to be a very clean affair, this second heat race of the night. The Total Tools speed cars, the moisture, plenty of it in the surface here.
Positions 5, 6, 7, and even 8 with William Douglas getting involved. They are what's up for grabs right now as Nick Rowe. By the way, Jake Robinson has pulled out of the race. He is out after being in position number 3 and also being in second spot a short time ago. So that is rotten luck for Jake Robinson, who has been in some very good form. But Keenan Fleming, well clear. Gap is all of a sudden out to 2 seconds with 1 and a bit to go.
Mass drill and blast back number 26 leads from Andreotti. I don't think he's going to be able to reel him in as the white boards flash here on the main straight. The gap was 1.7 seconds back to the American, with Nick Rowe for the back of the field up to 3rd position, and that's as far as he'll get here today. In this second heat race, is out the final turn. It's going to be Keenan Fleming who picks up the win by just a couple of seconds to the American, Jake Andreotti. Nick Rowe a distant 3rd, but from the back of the field should be Bo Doyle and Matt Iwanow home for 4th and 5th.
Good performance though from Nick Rowe, as you said, coming from position number 9. Nick Rowe managing to make up 6 spots and get himself onto the sort of pseudo podium, at least for a heat race. But Keenan Fleming, he deserves the way that he's been racing to be on the top step of a podium. He hasn't been able to do it just yet this season. But with a performance like we've seen here in the heat race, it suggests that he is going to be right up there throughout the night tonight. He's had his second heat win of the season coming in here. It's Bo Doyle, Nick Rowe, and also Matt Owen all getting involved in that little 3-way battle. And Keenan Fleming, too strong.
I don't think Will Douglas did hit the wall on that second observation. I think it's the cushion is so good up there at the moment. It actually gave him a bit more momentum coming out of that turn. He would finish up in 6th position, but nobody stopping the mass drill and blast number 26 of Keenan Fleming, picking up the win by 1.6 seconds as we go down to victory lane.
This man won himself a heat race win on the Burson Auto Parts Boxing Night, was ultimately 4th in the opening feature race for the Esslinger Triple Crown, and I tell you what, nobody wants to be 4th, especially this guy. He'd much rather be on the podium, if not the top step. Keenan Crackers Fleming, how are you tonight, mate?
Yeah, feeling good, mate. Another heat win for the second night. Feeling pretty good. Boys gave me a good race car. Yeah, hopefully we can do a bit more of that in the feature.
A bit more of that, meaning racing up at the very pointy end. How tough and how much does this track change for you from a heat race win to rolling out for the feature later on?
Oh, every time you roll out, the track's always changing. So, yeah, we just got to. We missed it a bit on 2 nights ago, so we just hopefully we can predict it a bit better for tonight and roll out the front.
There you go, Keenan Crackers Fleming takes the win in this second heat of the night in the Total Tools Rockingham Speed Cars Night 2 of the Esslinger Speed Car Triple Crown, proudly presented by Esslinger Engineering.
Nice job, Chris Mitchell. As he heads back into the infield, we tow out our first heat race of High Limit International. We'll start pushing it away in just a few moments when we come back to the Perth Motorplex at the High Limit International.
Heat race number 1 with High Limit International getting fired up on the front straightaway now, presented by Rise Electrics. Here is the lineup for heat race number 1. The pole sitter out of Clovis, California, it's going to be Corey Day, and outside of him from Alice Springs, Northern Territory, Australia, it's the number 1 of James McFadden. Starting inside of row number 2 from Grass Valley, California, it's the 49 of Brad Sweet, and to his outside from Pengrove, California, the number 7 of Michael Buddy Kofoid. Starting in 5th out in Vincenttown, New Jersey, that's the 21 of Justin Whittall. And outside of him from Odessa, Missouri, the 16 of Xavier Doney. Starting inside of the 4th row, that'll be the number 79 of Chris Coyle. Coyle out of Canning Vale, Western Australia. And outside of him, that's Craig Bottrell in car number 4. He is also from Canning Vale, WA. Starting inside of row number 5, the 9th position, it's J.D. Dack out of Martin, Western Australia. And it was outside the 94, Matthew Cross. He is from Secret Harbor. And your final starter should be Aaron Reutzel out of Clute, Texas, the Monty Motorsport number 17.
And Rise Electrics are your number one electricians in the Peel and Perth region that you can trust. A family-run business with over 90 years of combined experience and expertise. Our electricians are highly qualified. Rise Electrics offers a home and businesses a reliable service for all your electrical needs. You can go to riseelectrics.com.au.
Let's go downstairs.
Chase, Matt, keep your eye on that last place starting car, that purple and yellow machine from Luch Monte's stable. Aaron Reutzel. Chase, you talked about it. He had a standout year in 2025 with High Limit. He put a hurting on the front end of that number 17 after his crash in qualifying. Bart and the rest of the boys worked very hard and very quick to get him back out on track. They had to replace the tie rod, the whole front end assembly, body work, the nose wing straps were all damaged. Aaron Reutzel is going to be pointed forward and driving aggressively in this heat.
Thank you, Tony. As we go green on Rise Electric's heat race number 1, 8 laps, top 5 to the feature, with the fastest qualifier and the heat winner going to the dash. McFadden to the inside, got very close to Corey Day. He now gets circled by Buddy Kofoid, who moves into the 2nd position. McFadden sits in 3rd, then it is Xavier Doney. Good battle for 5th as Chris Coyle a little sideways off the corner, but Brad Sweet still has that spot.
Xavier Doney, the quickest mover in the field right now. The outside, and almost a little bit of contact between Day and Kofoid as they battle for the lead. Not even 2 laps into the books, and the elbows are up here as Day leads from Kofoid, and here comes the Aussie champ.
McFadden able to get into the mix after that bid from Kofoid on Day as Corey Day pulls away down the back straightaway. Xavier Doney, good run here in that number 16 car, sitting in the 4th spot as a close call in turn 3 as Justin Whittall just bounced the right rear off the wall in turn number 3 in his pursuit of Brad Sweet.
That 16 car looks much better tonight. The Paul Keane Racing prepared car of Doney, who runs in 4th, and Brad Sweet just behind. But out in front, it's Corey Day from Buddy Kofoid, your Boxing Day Bonanza winner. James McFadden runs in 3rd position. That's the gap, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. A hint of smoke from the Monty Farms car of Aaron Reutzel, who's come up into 8th position. Let's keep an eye on the 17. Remember, a lot of work's gone on that car since we last saw it during qualifying.
Yeah, Reutzel +3 so far in this heat race, closing in on Chris Coyle down the front straightaway for the 7th position. Just ahead of him is the 21 of Justin Whittall. Now Reutzel's into the wall again in turn number 2. Reutzel bounces off the fence, keeps on going, points it down the back straightaway, and continues on. Another car off the pace on the backstretch. Matthew Cross continues on, and he is now right in the crosshairs of your race leader, Corey Day, off of turn 4.
I feel that engine's going away for the Adamson and Cross cycle bar entry as into the final lap goes Corey Day. 28th on the grid of the provisional here on Boxing Night, and leads down the Triple M back straight for this, the final lap. Buddy Kofoid will have to settle for 2nd, but the American wins heat number 1 of High Limit International. Does it in fine form from Kofoid, McFadden, and great job to Xavier Doney to finish in 4th ahead of Brad Sweet.
Those are your 5 transfers to the feature here tonight. Justin Whittall, Chris Coyle, Aaron Reutzel, Craig Bottrell, J.D. Dack, and Matthew Cross. The rest of the field, Corey Day and Buddy Kofoid will be the 2 cars going to the dash here tonight. Day with the heat race win and Kofoid as the fastest transfer car. He ended up in the 2nd spot, almost got by Corey Day very early on in that one. Here's a couple of the highlights from that one in Rise Electric's heat race number 1.
McFadden tried initially, Sweet went with him, but look at Kofoid and Day on a different planet there as they disappeared. That was so close on the way through Maddington Toyota turn 2. They weren't going to catch these 2 guys out in front, but what a masterclass it was from Corey Day, the Avalon Group Newground Water Services entry, picking up the win, the first heat race of High Limit Internationals. We go downstairs to Tony LePorta.
Corey Day sitting atop the scales here. You talked about it earlier, his teammate and his car owner, Callum Williamson's number 3. Corey will get pushed off the scales here, and we'll hand him this, the Rise Electric's heat race number 1 winning board. Corey, I believe you get to keep this. So you got some Vegemite, you get that cool board. All right, everybody wanted to see what you could do if you didn't have to start from the back after the show you put on back on Boxing Day. A dominant heat race victory, going head-to-head with the guy who you chased across the finish line 2 nights ago. What can you guys do here tonight, getting off on a much better foot?
Yeah, I think we showed our speed the other night. Just, need to put the first half of the night together better and, end up starting better in the feature. So, we've done that. We're in the dash, so that guarantees us top 8, and, that's the best start we could have had.
Corey Day, 28th to 2nd 2 nights ago. He'll get off to a much better start here on night number 1 as he scores the Rise Electrics Heat Race number 1 victory. Guys, back upstairs to you.
Nice job. Thanks to LePorta and Corey Day. I'm sure another 100 shirts and caps are about to be sold down there at the Williamson Motorsport team as we get set for heat number 2 of the night here at Perth Motorplex, the High Limit International. Cole Macedo will start from pole position. Alongside him will be James Inglis in the number 5 machine. Jai McKenzie has Cal Williamson for company on the second row with Jason Kendrick and Taylor Milling. On row number 3, we go back to Jack Williamson out of 7 in car 24 alongside Territorian Chris Harrison in the NT84. And off the back will be Daniel Keane and Harrison Pete, his first full season in the Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series. This heat race number 2, thanks to RSS.
And Rise Specialised Services, specialising in labour and equipment hire for quality electricians for your project requirements. Good Sparkies are guaranteed. Go to rsswa.com.au. We can find them at 87 Reserve Drive in Mandurah.
Thank you, Dan, as we get these guys fired off in heat race number 2. Once again, if you are not familiar, 8 laps is the distance here in these heat races. The top 5 will transfer directly into tonight's feature event for $15,000 to win on night number 1 of High Limit International. And also, don't forget, Matt, there are points involved with these heat races as well. They've already got points from qualifying. It is 100 points to win a heat race, 98 for second, 96 for third, and so on and so forth down the line. And so Kofoid with the quick time got 100 there, and then 98. So he's at 198 points already heading into the feature.
Every time the cars hit the track, there's points on offer. $110,000 to the winner here on the final night of High Limit International from the drone cam as every car is fired. Cole Macedo, who tested here on Wednesday, was pretty much putting the car back in the transporter. They were really happy at Highline Motorsports as the Cal Williamson fan club. There was one lucky guy, or I'd say unlucky, wearing a Dane Kingshot shirt amongst that crew there on Boxing Night. That was a dare. I don't know what that was about. He's certainly brave entering turn number 1.
That is dangerous to be wearing not a number 3 shirt down there in that section of the grandstands. I do need a Callum Williamson shirt. I actually do. I have a Kingshot shirt. I don't have a blue.
Keep it even, yeah.
Yep.
Collect the numbers.
Exactly. You go 1, 2, 3. Yep, exactly. I told Ryan Lancaster today I need to get one of his shirts. I love the look of the Dingo Day transport car.
He does a good job sneaking a good result for him here tonight. The former ATV champion, factory Yamaha and KTM racer, we'll see during the night. Second heat race is on the Speedway on night 1 of High Limit International.
Coming to the green this time by the John Day Ute pulls into the infield. We're coming to the green at the chalk stripe in turn number 4. It's Cole Macedo and James Inglis to the stripe, and we are underway with Rise Specialized Services heat race number 2. It's going to be Macedo short sliding into turn number 1, gets to the cushion and pulls away from the field. Good race for second. Jai McKenzie to the inside of James Inglis. They go wing to wing into turns 3 and 4. McKenzie at the racetrack. He'll take second away off of turn 4.
Good move from McKenzie on Inglis. Inglis, the former Maddington Toyota Series champion, fights back into second position. And McKenzie with a whole head of steam here. Nowhere to go. A little bit of contact between the two of them on the way down to turn 3.
And there was some crazy action back behind them as Callum Williamson and Jason Kendrick got together down the back straightaway. Kendrick points the car to the bottom in turn 1. Here comes the slider. He'll take 4th away from Callum into the wall. Upside down, big time in turn 2. It's Taylor Milling.
And he had right up the speedway, and that car was still running while it was rolling. And now the totally workwear Kalgoorlie case and drill Barbagallo 25 has gone into what we've called the Bermuda Triangle of turn 2. Go in, sometimes you might not get out.
Taylor Milling, big time, upside down. And the car looked like it was still running as it was flipping. At least maybe the throttle had possibly hung there on that number 25 car. Taylor Milling, the driver, out of Kalgoorlie, Western Australia. Unfortunately, on his side down there. And as you can see, the Perth Motorplex safety crew on the scene to make sure get him flipped back on all fours. We've got a replay coming up here briefly. Running in mid-pack, he was in the 7th position. Going into turn 1 on the left side of your screen, he throws a slider. I can't tell who that was on Jack Williamson. Just gets at the wall.
And a long way up the speedway. There's a hint of smoke and a bit of flash of flame from that car. And how lucky was Harrison Pete not to run over that crumpled top wing that came sailing down. Just got the right rear into the wall under the Maddington Toyota sign. A shower of sparks from the 25. And watch the 65. Oh, so close.
And just a little bit of a misjudgment there from Taylor Milling on that slide job that just a little bit too deep into the corner and clipped the outside retaining wall, sending him up and over, running into 7th position. And so he will drop out. Cole Macedo still with the race lead here in this one. James Inglis in 2nd, Jai McKenzie in 3rd, Callum Williamson 4th, and Jason Kendrick in 5th. There is Taylor Milling. He is out of the race car and walking away.
And not too interested in talking to Tony LePorta right now as he walks back down the speedway. The man that drove from 22nd to 15th in the high limit final here in 2024. The team based out of Kalgoorlie. His dad, Scott Milling, did this gig for a long time with the likes of Randy Hannigan back in the 90s. The team yet to get a result. This car has got so much pace, they just need the luck to arrive. Tony?
Yeah, Matt, Taylor Milling did confirm that he was okay. You're right, did not have much interest in speaking, and of course, that is totally okay. These drivers are out there putting on a show and risking a whole lot in the process of doing that. So we're grateful just to know that he was able to get out of the car. And again, under his own power, he did communicate that he felt okay. And as Chase talked about a little while ago, you could have seen probably a live shot of Charlie Cutter. He is part of High Limit International and High Limit back home in the States. He was part of the MedStar safety team back in the U.S., a very well-known medical response group in the world of sprint car racing, for at least the last 10 years or so now, I think. And Charlie just coming on a few weeks ago as full-time medical response with High Limit Racing in the United States. Charlie is a major asset to the series, and as Chase hit on a little while ago, you guys all talked about a good addition to the already top-notch safety program here at the Perth Motorplex. So, important thing, take a bill. Okay.
Thank you very much, Tony. And how about a shout out here for Jai McKenzie? So far, I don't know much about him, to be quite honest with you, Matt Nolte, but I was doing some research here, and from what I could find, I don't know if he's ran many 410 races. December 13th was 17th at the Atwell Park Speedway, and that was the only previous 410 start I could find. He does have 3 limited sprint wins this year, 2 of them coming at the Perth Motorplex, Tony.
It's his 3rd night in a 410 wing sprint car. Night number 1 you talked about. Night number 2 was here on Boxing Day. This is night number 3. Quite the deep end of the pool to jump into in some of the world's most fierce competition when it comes to on-track racing 410 wing sprint cars. Never easy to learn. Jai McKenzie's grabbing the bull by the horns.
Yeah, he's in the deep end of the pool, and he's swimming with the sharks right now. As we come back to the green flag, it is Cole Macedo touching the cushion down there in turn number 1 and pulling away from the field. Callum Williamson making quick work of Jai McKenzie. Takes over that 3rd spot. McKenzie taps the wall down the back straightaway. Williams will slide himself in turn number 3 as Jai is now feeling some pressure from Jason Kendrick off of turn 4.
Interesting to see how quick Cole Macedo disappeared away at the restart then from Inglis and Callum Williamson, who pickpocket that spot straight off Jai McKenzie, and Jason Kendrick, who runs behind him in 5th position. But the American leads another lap, and it's just over 1.5 seconds.
It was a spirited battle just a few moments ago between the 24 of Jack Williamson, the 84 of Chris Harrison. Those into the wall in the back straightaway. McKenzie hits the backstretch wall, allows Jason Kendrick to go by. Now he tries to roll the bottom. He's now on the bubble spot with the 24 of Jack Williamson closing in. Naltz, if he's not careful, he might lose that transfer spot.
Exactly, and he's just going to hold back Jack Williamson here in the MDH 24 as they power down the Triple M back straight. As through comes Macedo at the end of lap number 6. Gap is out to over 2 seconds for Inglis, Williamson, and you don't need to give Jason Kendrick too many invites for a position like that.
Jack Williamson has made the pass and takes over the final transfer spot from Jai McKenzie. So move the 24 up to the P5 position. Up front, it is all Cole Macedo, and his lead 2.3 seconds over the former Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series champion of James Inglis. Callum Williamson in 3rd. Then it's Jason Kendrick, Jack Williamson. There's the checkered Cole Macedo, your heat race winner.
Inglis will get 2nd. Williamson, Callum Williamson 3rd. Kendrick and Jack Williamson will make the show tonight. Jai McKenzie, who was ranked as high as 3rd at one point, finds himself outside looking in from Harrison, Keane, and Harrison Pete back there in 9th position. Tough night for Taylor Milling. There's a lot of work to do if that totally workwear number 25.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make it back out for the B main, but may just scratch it for the night and come back tomorrow on night 2 of High Limit International as Cole Macedo, just absolutely incredible so far this year. Out here in Perth, got that 3rd place run on Boxing Day, and he'll back it up with a Rise Specialized Services heat race win here with High Limit International. That Highline Motorsport entry has been absolutely phenomenal so far. as a teammate to Cody Clayton. He'll make sure to get across the scales here to make sure he meets that minimum weight requirement before he stops in to have a chat with Tony LePorta down there. But so far, so good for Cole Macedo. He told me yesterday brand new about everything on that car. Sometimes you have to work the bugs out with those new cars and new engines, but so far, no issues in the 40. As Tony, take it away with our heat race number 2 winner.
Rise Specialized Services heat race number 2 goes to Cole Macedo. We just talked to Corey Day, who ran second back on Boxing Night. Cole Macedo ran third. They'll get the Rise Specialized Services board in with him. Cole, we're going to have you hold that for a quick photo and shot right here. So it's beginning to look a lot like Boxing Day just 2 nights ago. So Cole, Chase was just talking about brand new race car, working everything out, feels comfortable. When you get behind a new piece like this, how much learning is involved for you, the driver?
Yeah, it definitely makes it a bit harder. You know, coming over here, and your old stuff would be a lot easier. But Bob, Daryl, and all the guys, man, they gave me a great equipment, and me and Bob have been putting our head together. And yeah, we're really fast, and I'm in Australia. And I love this place, and I love Perth Motorplex, and I'm having a lot of fun.
You are in Australia. We love this place, but how much do you love Turn 3 right now?
Man, it's badass. This whole racetrack, you just, you can really let it eat, or you can really be cautious and run the bottom. I mean, you can race all over the place. So, yeah, I love it. You can race all over.
All right, that's Cole Macedo. You get to hold on to that nice piece of cardboard right there. Rise Specialized Services heat race number 2 goes to one of 2 drivers from Lemoore, California. That's little brother Cole Macedo.
Thank you, Tony. Next up is going to be heat race number 3, presented by Electrical Group Training. On the pole of this one from Launceston, Tasmania, Australia, the Daniel Trucking Works Limited number 22 of Jock Goodyear. Outside of him, it's Cole's older brother, Carson Macedo. He's up from Lemoore, California in the W60. Inside of row number 2, the 3rd spot from Jonestown, Pennsylvania, the 95 of Brock Zierfoss. And it was outside from Bunbury, Western Australia, the number 2 of Dane Kingshot. Starting from 5th, it is Mikey Green in car number 74. He is from Bouvard, WA. And outside of him, car number 44 from Bullsbrook. The 44 is Ryan Lancaster. He will start from the 6th position. Inside of row number 4, the 7th starter is Chad Pittard in car number 92 from Bunbury. And outside of him, starting in the 8th spot, it's Daniel Harding in car number 18 from Canning Vale. Inside of row number 5, the 9th starter is the 51 of Tim King from Mora, WA. And outside of him, the 45, Aaron Churkop. He is from Boyanup. The final starter in this one is Miles Bolger, car number 13. He'll roll off from the tail end of the field in the 11th spot. From Serpentine, WA, let's go back over to Dan Leach.
Yeah, Electrical Group Training there, bringing us Heat 3 of the sprint cars tonight. You can get your electrical career off to a flying start with EGT, employing and training over 500 electrical apprentices in WA. Go to egt.net.au to get started.
All right, thank you, Dan, as we got the 11 cars in this heat race fired up. Top 5 is what you're looking for to make the feature event. You've already got 4 cars in the dash. About to add 2 more here, Matt.
Could be a great night for Mikey Green. He was strong during qualifying earlier tonight. 74, relative rookie to the Maddington Toyota Series. Looking back at the field here as they start to form up here. Heat number 3 as we approach nearly 7:30 on the west coast here of Western Australia. Monster crowd on hand for night 1 of the High Limit International.
Now, Mikey Green, you mentioned him. He's going to start 5th in this one. His first season of 410 action. He did make the show here at Boxing Day on Friday night with a 22nd place result. His best 410 run this season was back on December 6th right here at the Perth Motorplex. Currently 15th in the Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series point standings. We're coming to green this time by. It is Jock Goodyear and Carson Macedo from the front row. It's Electrical Group Training, heat race number 3. And at the chalk stripe in turn number 4, they will get on the gas and be underway for 8 laps. Here we go.
The 3 wide in the middle for Lancaster, who goes to the middle in the Dingo D entry around the outside. Because Kingshot, how lucky was it for the 44 not to go into the wall hard on the exit of turn number 2, but out in front, former national champion Jock Goodyear leads the way from Carson Macedo, Brock Zierfoss, Kingshot and Harding all in the top 5 in the early stages.
Macedo briefly had the lead, but Goodyear able to cross him up and take it back away down the backstretch. 1 lap ago. It's Zierfoss sitting in that 3rd spot as Daniel Harding runs the middle in turns 3 and 4. Keep an eye on Kingshot here. If he loses one more position, he will be out of that dash, and that would promote Macedo into that dash position. Kingshot a little slow off the corner, gives the back straightaway wall a little kiss there as the 44 of Lancaster tries to close in.
Goodyear continues to lead, won the national championship in 2023, former Formula 500 champion in his own right. He dominated the February races here in 2025 as well and leads from Carson Macedo. Behind is Zierfoss, Harding and Kingshot, who's got enough of a margin now between he and Ryan Lancaster, who's outside looking in.
Some smoke and flames coming out of the side of the car for Mikey Green. He sits back in the 7th position in car number 74. Behind him is Aaron Sherkop, then Chad Pittard, then the 13 of Miles Bolger, and rounding out the field, the 51 of Tim King, as Goodyear's lead is 2 seconds over the driver that ran 3rd in World Outlaws point standings this season, Carson Macedo. The top 5 all appear to be pretty safe in those spots.
He might catch Tim King here with 2 remaining to take the speed shot on the main straight, looking into turn number 1 with Kingshot and Lancaster. So it's a cushion between 5th and 6th spot now as we check in with Harding and Kingshot. Harding right in the 4th position as here comes the leader with 1 remaining.
Big slider for the 6th position. Mikey Green going to take it away from Ryan Lancaster briefly. Lancaster back around the outside, maintains the 6th position. They are outside of a transfer. They're coming to the checker this time by Jock Goodyear gets the win. Then it's going to be Carson Macedo, Brock Zierfoss, Daniel Harding, and final transfer goes to Dane Kingshot.
Lancaster a further 2 seconds from Mikey Green, who got him in the closing stages by 24 thousandths of a second. So Mikey Green started 5th, but will now have to come from the B main. Well, last chance qualifier with Lancaster, Cherkov, Pittard, Miles Bolger and Tim King all at the back of the field there in 11th position. But Jock Goodyear has had such a love affair with the Perth Motorplex. Dominates heat number 3 from Carson Macedo and Brock Zierfoss.
He was challenged right here on the opening corner by Carson Macedo. Slid right across the nose of the T22. He crossed him up and never looked back, getting the win by 2.8 seconds at the line over Carson Macedo. Zierfoss, Harding, and Kingshot the top 5. But your heat race winner, presented by Electrical Group Training, is the T22 from Launceston, Tasmania, Jock Goodyear.
Crikey, that was a good race. He had a 2+ second victory, Jock Goodyear. We got to see him come over and race in the States at the end of 2024. He picks up the Electrical Group Training Heat Race number 3. Jock Goodyear, man, off to a much better start to High Limit International 2025 than you had in 2024. We'll get you the winner's board here from Electrical Group Training. Jock, you didn't hear me say it earlier, but crikey, that was an impressive performance. How good does it feel to start this event off so much better than you did last year? And what can you credit that good start to?
Oh, I mean, just back to the drawing board and obviously building a package that we're all comfortable with. I know we're really good around here. Obviously, we've got a lot of success around here. So, yeah, it's just good to roll in here and obviously put this thing in the dash. Obviously, you need to be in that to have contention to win these races. So just looking forward to seeing what we can do later on and hopefully put on a good show.
And we talked back on boxing night. You really enjoy a track that gets up around the fence where you can kind of lean on that right rear tire. How do you feel the car and the track are coming to you in the heat races?
Yeah, I feel 10 times better than I did on boxing night. So, yeah, it's good. Obviously, I like to get up there and, play around with the wall and that. So, yeah, just testament to these guys. They've obviously worked on my package there on the day off and feeling a hell of a lot more comfortable tonight.
A hell of a lot more comfortable. That could be bad news for the competition as Jock Goodyear looked good back on boxing night. You just heard him say he feels so much better already than he did back on boxing night. A nice smooth transition there as we hand off the winner's board from Jock to his team. Jock Goodyear, the winner of Electrical Group Training Heat Race number 3.
That car looked much better. Tony LePorta downstairs with Jock Goodyear, who's had a great start to the season. Won the opener at Warrnambool. He picked up the win at Max's race a couple of weeks ago. He missed out on winning the Mildura race by half a car length to James McFadden in early December. He picks up the win here tonight in heat number 3. As heat number 4 pushes away our final heat race of the night in the High Limit International. Pole position, we'll see the QB Dasco Supply Group entry, car 71 of Caden Manders on the front row. Alongside him, the Madman, Kerry Madsen, in the Geotech Devil Race Karts Diamond Bay Motorsports number 26. Inside row number 2 is the 1K reigning champ Kyle Larson, has Luke Oldfield alongside him on the second row tonight. On the third row, out of position 5, two-time Maddington Series champion Brad Maiolo. Alongside him in the 9 is AJ Nash. Inside row number 4, position number 7 is Cam McKenzie. Alongside him in the USA 24, the Nanny Hotshots DeCandelo Steel City entry, Rico Abreu. And off the back, in the number 8 machine, Andrew Priolo and rookie Cody Clayton will start out of 9 and 10 for this final heat race.
Fourth and final heat, thanks to Rise Electrics. Rise Electrics, your number 1 electricians in the Peel and Perth region that you can trust. A family-run business with over 90 years of combined experience and expertise. The electricians are highly qualified, and Rise Electrics offers all home and businesses a reliable service for all your electrical needs. Go to riseelectrics.com.au.
This is a stacked one.
It's very good, yes. I'm interested to see how Manders does here from the pole of this one. He got a win here at Perth back on December 6th, also a Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series win at Atwell Park on December 13th, so he's been pretty good here recently as you get an onboard shot of Kyle Larson in the Schlam 1K for Jason Pride Motorsports. We're coming to the green this time by. It's Rise Electrics heat race number 4. Top 5 will transfer to the feature after 8 laps of competition around the Perth Motorplex. It's Manders and Madsen on the front row. The green flag waves on the final heat of the night.
Luke Oldfield squeezed on that second row as we go into turn number 1 for the first time for the Maddington Cable Cam. I saw Maiolo turning inside out briefly, but he's straightened up. The Australian Produce Brokers, number 77, is out in front, challenge for the lead here as Manders leads from Madsen. Behind is Kyle Larson on the bottom. They're 3 wide. They're 3 wide for a moment through Maddington Toyota turn 2, and a drag race on between the 26 and the 1K.
Good race up front, 3 cars strong. It's Manders coming across the line with a top spot. Kyle Larson sizing up Kerry Madsen. Here comes a slider into turn number 1. Move Young Money up to the P2 position. He gets by the 26 of Kerry Madsen. Luke Goldfield back and forth, and 5th at this point in time is AJ Nash as Larson now begins to pursue the 71 of Caden Manders.
AJ Nash in the 5th position with McKenzie, Maiolo and Abreu outside looking in at the moment, but it's Manders, Larson and Madsen, the top 3. That's the gap. First, second and third. Another hit of smoke now from the 1K as he chases after Manders, who's been in red hot form here.
Manders putting up some good lap times. He was 2/10 of a second faster that last time by over Kyle Larson. You can see that gap starting to open up for that number 71 car owned by Dan Golding. He'll come across the line this time by with 3 laps to go. Kyle sits back in the second spot. Then it's Kerry, then it's Luke, and then it's AJ Nash back there at 5th.
So Nash holding down that final transfer position from McKenzie, who runs in 6th. Cody Clayton has dropped down to the bottom of the field here as through goes our race leader at the end of lap number 6. If anything, he's just starting to ease away again from the 1K of the reigning high limit international champion of Kyle Larson. As they make their way around this time by, it'll be 1 remaining.
1 lap to go for Caden Manders. Has been red hot here recently with 2 Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series wins in this month. He'll come into turns 3 and 4 for the final time, and he'll win Rise Electrics heat race number 4. Goes to the 71. Kyle Larson third, Luke Goldfield 4th, and AJ Nash will come home with the final transfer spot.
That's big for Nash to get himself in the show. Makes his night a whole lot easier. And that Colonial Freight Lines Castrol number 9 as the rest of the field accepting the checkered flag. And Caden Manders, to the roar of the Aussie fans in front of us here, that is a hard-earned victory to take on arguably the world's best right now.
Yeah, that was a very nice drive there from the 71. And as you mentioned, he came off of turn 4 on the final lap, and the crowd went absolutely wild as they hope to see one of WA's best and Caden Manders get the win here tonight, or maybe even on Tuesday. Here is a look at the replay. A couple of highlights from that one as Kerry tried to make the move at turn 1, couldn't quite do it.
Larson went after him in the early stages of this race, and the Geotech car went for the lead. That's as close as he got to Manders. And a few moments later, the 1K pounced on the inside, the Schlam Group car of Kyle Larson, as they went side by side here through turn 2 and down the back straight. Madsen just kissed the wall for a moment there, exiting turn 2.
Yeah, good stuff there. And then Kyle was able to get by him about a lap or so later, right here into turn 1. Makes the move and does not look back, but he was not able to get the victory. The guy that did that was the number 71 of Caden Manders. And I'll tell you what, when he gets his helmet off, Tony LePorta might be jealous of that head of hair that Caden Manders has got. I know Tony, I'll leave it at that. Tony, down to you.
Chase, great setup as always. I love your throws. They're one of the best qualities of your announcing. Rise Electric's heat race number 4 goes to Caden Manders. Caden will have you take the board there and get a quick photo. Chase Rodman is right. You do have a fantastic head of hair. You had a fantastic looking race car in that 4th heat race. Last year you ran 12th on night 1 after starting the feature in 16th. You're in the dash. You're going to start a lot higher up than that in tonight's feature. How good do you feel about this race car?
Yeah, it's awesome to get a heat race win in this company and make the dash is one of our goals. So looking forward to seeing where we're starting from and seeing what we can do.
How tricky has this track become?
It's not too bad. The wind's making it tricky. A lot of wind pushing you down the back straight and doing the opposite down the front straight. So yeah, but it's good fun out there, and I think it's going to make a really good racetrack for later.
If you folks don't believe that the wind is strong, Caden Manders is rolling backwards on his own as the car is getting pushed back up the pit lane here towards turn number 4. That is how strong the wind is blowing in the infield here at the Perth Motorplex. Heat racing is complete here on night number 1, a high limit international. You just heard from Caden Manders, but don't go anywhere. We're going to hear from him, the rest of our heat race winners, and the fastest transferring drivers to go into tonight's main event as they will head to the high limit redraw wheel spin coming up on the front stretch. Grandstands here in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back with more live coverage of high limit racing here at the Perth Motorplex.